Wait. Why is it playing music in my ears still? Do you guys hear that? Okay, there we go. It's a little delayed for me, I guess. Oh, you know why? Because I had it. I keep doing that. You guys. Let me boop this first. Hi. Oh my God. I always do a double boop. Okay. So what I was doing, maybe if you want to know, I pull up the chat, but then that pulls up the YouTube video. So I was like hearing the music. I was hearing the live stream. And I was like, oh, there's the music. It's a little delayed. And then anyway, whatever. You guys don't need to know about all the technology that I have to put together. Oh, Bonbon decided she didn't want to be on her bed. She doesn't want to be on her mark today, and that's okay. We let Bonbon do what she wants, but maybe we'll make me... I was trying to leave room for the Bonbon cam, but we'll leave it. Today is Wednesday. Michelle would be proud of my boop. Hi everyone. Hi Petra. Hi Madam Dram. Who else is here? Kyle, Bishoppa, Patricia's here. We have Chris Core. Chris Core is here. Hi everyone. I hope you're having a good week. I am. How's the audio, by the way? How's my voice? Hi, Vinny the cat. Let me know in the chat. So we should be streaming on, let me make sure I wasn't streaming on Twitch. So now we're streaming on Twitch. Sorry, Twitch. I don't know why I didn't stream. I have to click it. And now I'm going to stream on Instagram. Because we can. Because Al made it so we can stream on Instagram. Hi, Kyle. All right, we're going to go live on Instagram. I've actually had quite a few of my reels been going a little bit viral on Instagram, and it always invites people to come and like give their opinion. And some of them are welcome, and some of them are a little rude and snarky, and I'm a bitch, so I'm not nice back. And it always surprises people because I think they see my sweet little face and my little voice, but they don't realize that there's like my blood. I am Sicilian and Calabrese, and so I'm a spicy meatball. Hi, Instagram. If you're joining this stream right now, I'm live on YouTube, and that is the best place to watch me. Our stream today is going to get a little bit geeky. We're going to talk about space. We're going to talk about cannabis and space. We're just going to talk about space in general. Sometimes the conversation takes a detour, and that's okay. We're here to have a good time. We're here to get baked. I'm probably going to order some food because I always love a little treat. And that is the show. That's the club sesh. And to everyone who sends me a super chat, I write your name on the chalkboard to say thank you to all of my super chats. And I don't know, we could work toward a goal. If someone wants to propose a goal for tonight's club sesh and whatever it is, I can do it. Hello from Albuquerque, JCM in pictures. Hi. Hi, hello. Honestly, like Instagram, I go live on here because I have such a big audience on Instagram, but the best show is on YouTube. I have the same handle there. It's Vanessa Marigold. I go live every Wednesday and every Saturday, and this is a long sesh. This is, I go live sometimes for 3 hours on Wednesdays, definitely 3 hours on Saturdays because we're cooking. And that's where all my reels come from, right? So I do these streams and then I cut those down into reels. Although on Saturdays, my co-host Anina takes video for me of whatever recipe that we're doing. So that's how like every week I have fresh content, fresh recipes for you guys. And we're always doing something fun. I've really worked hard to actually create this as a job. And I like it. It's fun for me to talk to all of you and learn new things, and we get really baked. And I usually, Saturdays are for cooking. So you can learn some cooking techniques if you want to learn about cooking, or you can just watch someone cook. And sometimes I fuck up and most of the time I pull it off. But if I fuck up, I always find a way. Oh yeah, those mac and cheese Zaza poppers. Those were so good. And that was really it was just this. So I had gone onto YouTube and they tell you what's trending. And yes, Holly Janae, you're on Instagram, but I can see your comments. But I'm streaming now on YouTube. I'm live now on YouTube, on Twitch, and then on Instagram. So I had a really cool, very talented, smart OBS stream just expert come over and set up my stream so I can do that. Kane M, hello from Miami and switched over from Instagram. Welcome. See, you can get you get the wide. So then you can see like the chalkboard, and then we're going to pull up a browser and we'll look at some cool shit. Okay, so right now I'm smoking Rosin Tech. I do like their rosin. This is their papaya bomb, and it's very tasty, very fruity, very fun. I like it. And yeah, the thing is, people are always like, oh, you must get so baked. Like, honestly, when I smoke, I just feel kind of normal. That's how I feel. It's like when people tell me I think I might have ADHD. Sorry, this might be TMI. But when people tell me they take like Adderall and it makes them feel normal, that's how weed makes me feel. Like I just feel normal. And it's funny because when I was on Bong Appetit, the cook-off season, and I was working with Be Real, he would always like first thing when I would get there, he'd be like, get Vanessa a joint, because I am so like, I've got so much energy and I'm so all over the place, and just my brain goes a mile a minute. And then cannabis just slows it all down for me. It helps me eat. It helps me sleep. It's just got so many benefits for me in my life. I think it's funny when people are like, oh, kind of treat me like a drug addict. And I don't appreciate that. But, it's hard I didn't even know, I've been smoking weed for a long time. And I never thought like, why am I using this? I used to, when I first got my card, I would say, I said, what did I say? An eating disorder to get my medical card in college. So I'm just going to take a goober of this papaya bomb. I probably should just smoke the rest of it, but I'm not going to do that because I'm trying to Fraggle Rock. Thanks, JJ. I'll put you on the board. Give me a second. Let me boop this. Come back to the show podcast. It was great having you there. Rich Fibrous. Yeah, I would love to. Of course. As soon as B's out of town. As soon as he's done bopping around, come on in. Okay, so I'm going to boop this. This is a Puffco. I'm not sponsored by them, but they did give it to me. Boop. Would that be considered sponsored? Well, I'm letting you know they gifted me this piece. Okay, it was gifted. I bought the rosin. Dr. Dabber gifted me this hot knife. I've got to put Fraggle Rock on the board. On the board. Let me put you on the board. What color are we going to use? Okay, 1 second. All right. There we go. In cursive. Because that's what I like to do. Okay, so hi, Michelle. Missed you. We're talking about space today. Space kind of scares me. Let me know how you guys feel about space. When I think about space, it's kind of like when I think about death. Just like it overwhelms me and I feel really small. And I'm like, oh, none of this matters. What are we doing? What is this? What's going on? Anyway, it's freaking me out right now just thinking about it. So let's not do that. You know, I'm live. But we're going to talk about space. We're going to talk about weed in space. And it's all good because I got you guys here and you're going to come with me on this journey. Yeah, black holes are scary. Astronauts coming at you are scary. Like all of it is scary. It scares me. And I know like if I knew the statistics and if I spoke to someone, they'd be like, oh, it's nothing to be afraid of. It's like a flight, you know, it's like, oh, there's nothing to be afraid of. Yeah, but you know, and I'm still afraid. I don't know what to say. So I'm going to boop this and we should dive into, let me put these down. We should dive into, our topic today, which is space and cannabis in space and why they're sending cannabis seeds to space. Let me prime up some links for us to watch. Patricia says, I think it's fascinating. I love the colors space gives. I do too. I don't know. Maybe it's somewhat hopeful, right? Maybe it's kind of hopeful. Let me see if this is going to work for us. Bum, bum, bum. Like it's not a joke. There's actually cannabis in orbit. There's just, you know, we're going to unpack the science. We're going to debate the future of space farming, which sounds totally nuts, but like maybe. And that's the show. I'm glad your ass broke your foot. Oh, Petra and Michelle are talking about asses breaking falls. That's so funny. I love it. Oh no, why is my Twitch stream not working? Interesting. It says offline, but it should be online. Unstable, live, unstable. Why is it unstable? This video, my Twitch stream always kind of is not, I don't know if it's working. That's pinned. Well, we shall see. And we're going to start watching videos, so it's okay. I have some numbness in my butt. So if you're watching on Instagram, like I'm reading comments from YouTube Live right now, so this might be a little weird for you. So my whole goal with you is come on over to YouTube. Maybe I should add a little text on yours. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, you ready? I'm going to put something on your screen, Instagram. to do that. Where did it go? Oh, it's so tiny. I have to edit it. I'm trying to create something on Instagram that will work so they can see. And I'll just put it where? Trying to figure this out, you guys. Bear with me. Bear with me. Let's put a background color. Let's put a green background color on it. That didn't work. Where the hell did that go? Background color. Oh, there's no opacity. That's why. Yeah, let's do that. There we go. Cool. Now they have a little sign on their video that says, you guys better come on over to YouTube because that's where the party's at. That's where the party's at, people. It's over on YouTube. Okay, let's get to it. Although now when I go to the other streams thing, whatever, they'll figure it out. You guys will figure it out on Instagram. Okay? All right, let's pull up this. Let me see if this video will work. I just want to make sure and see how long it is. It's not too long. Good. We love that. Theater mode. And I want to make sure our watch scene. Okay, Vanessa, finally convinced to head on to YouTube. Hi, James Hogan. Welcome to YouTube. It's really where it's at. I put a little sign on my Instagram, and I think it's really going to work for getting people over to my YouTube channel. It's the same handle. It's Vanessa Marigold. It's very easy to get over there. If you prefer Twitch, it's the Edibles Club. But I don't know if that stream is working because it doesn't look like it, but maybe it is. I should pull it up on my phone and see if it's working on my Twitch. And if not, I'm going to have to figure out what I'm doing incorrectly because I feel like I'm doing it right. All right. Did anyone pick a goal as well for today's stream? Is there anything we're working toward? Maybe I should just make one for you. What will I do? I mean, take a bunch of dabs isn't really a goal because well, I don't know what the hell's going on. Oh, maybe it's this. I'm trying to log into Twitch to see if I can see my stream and see if it's working. Anyway, if someone can tell me if my Twitch stream is working, let me know. It worked. Insta Lurker finally made the switch. Great. Thank you for being here. Make sure you like and subscribe. YD Maddie, hi. I love your edible recipe videos. I watch them all the time while I garden. Cool, Maddie. Thank you. Did you get my cookbook? Not to put pressure on you, but my cookbook has a ton of fun recipes. Oh, someone is checking the Twitch. Let me know in the Twitch chat if the stream is working because I can't see it and I don't know what that's about. And I want to make sure it's working because I'll test it. Okay, Michelle, I'll try it and see because I want it. Believe me, I just always thought you had to be sick to get a medical card. No, you can get it for all sorts of things. Ooh. Oh. Sorry, my eyes bugging me. Sometimes I get hairs in my eyes, especially with this little dog, and also especially with my hair, and it is not good for contact lenses. So, just trying to get comfortable. Okay, so I want to switch on over to the watch scene. Oops. That's not right at all. Sorry, you guys. This looks terrible. Where's my browser? Oh, it didn't want to click it. Sorry, 1 second. Cannabis. Oh, maybe I need to switch this. Cannabis, the first crop. Sorry, guys. Give me a secondo. There we go. Oh, it's huge. And I'm in the wrong spot. Sorry. We're working on the fly. Okay, let me see what I can show. All right, so Instagram, you're going to see a little bit of this. And let me see if I can actually add that text to that still. And just make it like that. So they can see. Okay, so you guys should be able to hear this. Let me know. Harry, holla. Hi, Harry Lee. How's it going? Okay, I'm going to drink some water. Drink your water, people. Stay hydrated. Let's see what this guy says. The Dales Report.
Welcome into our latest Trade to Black podcast. I'm your host, Shad Dales, and today we're taking a trip that's truly out of this world. Seriously, scientists just launched cannabis seeds into space, and I'm being
Those
serious.
didn't look like
a new
cannabis
international
seeds.
research mission
Wait.
is testing.
Let me look at those. Those are not cannabis seeds, by the way, but that's okay. They just got some B-roll.
Seeds into space.
Hi,
And I'm being
Ed.
serious. A new international research mission is testing how cannabis responds to cosmic radiation and microgravity. And the implications? Well, they go beyond just getting high. So could cannabis be a key to farming on Mars? Let's break it down. So back on June 23rd, a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket lifted off from Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. On board, a biological incubator called Maya-Sat-1, developed by the Genoplant Research Institute in Slovenia. Inside that incubator were hundreds of biological samples, including approximately 100.
Oh, why did it pause? Oops.
In Slovenia. Inside that incubator were hundreds of biological samples, including approximately 150 cannabis seeds. So what's the mission's goal? To expose these seeds to extreme levels of radiation in low Earth orbit, specifically over the poles where solar particles are most intense, and then bring them back to Earth for analysis.
Cool.
So you might ask, why cannabis? Well, according to lead researcher Bozidar Rastasik, cannabis is one of the most versatile plants on Earth.
Wow.
It grows fast, adapts well, and has been cultivated for thousands of years. It can be used for food and protein, textiles and building materials, bioplastics, and of course, which we all know, medicine. Radisik believes that if we're going to build lunar or Martian colonies, cannabis could be a cornerstone crop, providing everything from shelter to sustenance. The
Wow.
Maya-Sat-1 capsule was designed to orbit Earth 3 times in just a few hours, passing through high radiation zones near the poles. The idea is to see how cosmic radiation and microgravity affect the genetic structure of the seeds. So once recovered, scientists will then germinate the seeds, grow them over multiple generations, analyze for mutations in root structure, cannabinoid production, and stress resistance. Sounds wordy, doesn't it? So in
No.
other words, they're looking to accelerate evolution to create cannabis strains that could thrive in space or, in this case, on Mars.
Holy shit. Oh my God, I'm pausing it, but let's keep them going.
So this isn't just a gimmick. As we look forward to long-term space missions and planetary colonization, we'll need crops that can, 1, grow in low gravity, 2, survive radiation exposure, and 3, adapt to Martian soil conditions. Cannabis is a strong candidate because it's resilient, it's fast-growing, and biologically complex. And this isn't the first time it's gone to space either. Back in 2020, SpaceX sent cannabis cell cultures to the International
I'm hitting
Space
it again, I don't
Station
care.
to study how microgravity affects plant development. It's pretty cool, actually, when you think about it. And what's even cooler, here's the twist. The capsule, called Nick's Mission Possible, was supposed to splash down in the Pacific Ocean near Hawaii. But just minutes before landing, communication was lost. The parachute system failed, and the capsule crashed into the ocean, destroying the experiment. So while the seeds made it
Okay, sorry guys. I just want to pause this for a second because the Twitch stream doesn't have any visuals. So I just want to going back to the main, and I want to just give me a second to do stream manager, Twitch, main canvas, output settings. Why isn't it? Okay. Okay, I'm going to turn the Twitch on and off again. Let's try it again. I don't know why Twitch isn't working. It has the right stream key. That's not good. I'll have to ask Al because I have the stream key in. It should all work, but maybe, no, I have the apps, built-in stream, Twitch, stream should be going. Hello, Cannabis, consider it. Thank you for letting me know about the stasher bag. Oh, yeah. Welcome. That was earlier today. I'm happy to let you know about the stasher bag. I love decarbing in a stasher bag. Okay, so I don't know what the hell's going on with the Twitch stream, but I'm just gonna end it. I'm so sorry to everyone on Twitch. I'll figure it out. Don't get it. Stream key is there. I'm hitting record, or I'm hitting general main outputs, Twitch, yeah, output settings. Okay, all of this is correct. I wonder if I have to put it in again. Sometimes you have to technology is just finicky, right? Sometimes you have to put it in, delete it, and then put it in again. Kind of annoying. Okay, Al, thank you. The settings from last time are not carrying over. Thanks, Al. Okay, I'm just going to end the Twitch. Sorry, you guys on Twitch. We'll fix this. We'll fix it. Don't you worry, babes. Let's keep watching our show. Back to the watch scene. Okay, we've got this cool thing. Okay, so basically what they're doing is they're putting these seeds into different conditions because plants will adapt. And there's a fly in here. Fuck. Plants will adapt and, right, I'm sure you guys all get that. But it's interesting. So they're doing that, and cannabis is such an adaptable plant. You can see that by how we've taken it all over the world. It was originally from the Altai Mountains in Asia, and then it's traveled all over the world. So it's a very versatile plant. It wants to be alive. It's why we call it, it's like weed, right? It's a weed. But people always say that as you can grow, it's a weed. And it's very easy in that sense. All of my seeds popped. All of my ILGM seeds I've got here. Let me tell you what I'm growing. I'll tell you guys in the stream. I'll tell you in the stream because you're here. I'm growing Blue Dream, Yuzu Euphoria, Northern Lights, Purple Kush, and what was the last one? Oh, Durban Poison. How can I forget? So excited. Anyway, so we'll have lots of fun things to cook with for the kitchen sesh, which is awesome. They're auto flowers, so it's going to be quick. I know people are like, but the light. I might get some lights. You don't know. I might get some lights. And then it's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope you guys will grow along with me on that project. I'm going to post, I made a cute little video of it. I love Northern Lights too. Infinite Indigo. It's such an old school. That's what I smoked in high school. I guess that ages me. You can tell I should make a reel of that. You can tell someone's age by the strain that they smoke. It's so true. When I was growing up, it was like, what was the kind of like ooh, White Widow? It was like, what? Whoa. And definitely Northern Lights, Trainwreck, Blue Dream, lots of Blue Dream. And that's the hash I started cooking with, was Blue Dream for Marigold. I used to cook with that from Humboldt. And I had no idea what decarboxylation was. And there was no beautiful cookbook with the graphs and charts for me to cook from. So I really had to figure it out on my own. And I did. And it was the hash. You know, people would give me garbage bags of trim, and it just smelled like junk. You know, it's no offense. It just, if you put it in a bag and you let it sit there, it's not like they're taking care of it. They're like, here's a bunch of trim, make some butter out of it. And I'm like, how am I supposed to make something that tastes good out of something that smells like shit? And cover it in chocolate. That's why it's always been brownies, because chocolate, you can make anything taste good. But when I got a big bag of cold water hash, that's when shit changed for me. I was like, oh, what's this? Interesting. I'm going to put this into some cookies. And I put way too much into a batch of cookies, and it rocked my socks. Like, I was fucked up. But what was interesting was we did a ganache, and that didn't heat it enough. But because in cookies, when you bake it, it will decarb it a little bit. You still want to decarb before you put it into a batch of cookies, because you won't get the full potency. We pre-decarb so that we're making sure we're converting all of the potential THCA, the acidic form of THC, the non-active, doesn't get you high, but anti-inflammatory. So it's not like it's the end of the world if you don't activate all of your THCA, right? And it's not the end of the world if you got a little bit of CBN. Guess what? When you smoke, you're getting a little bit of CBN. The cherry of your joint is hot as shit, and so it's gonna degrade some of the THC to CBN. So we're inhaling that. We like it. It's a little like sleep. It's a little like, ooh, you know, it's just, you don't want too much of it. And we're trying to avoid it in edibles. Sometimes we're not. Sometimes we're trying to make CBN because we want to go to sleep. A lot of people, that's and that's why I didn't know what I was doing. But I knew if I heated the hash in the oven a little bit, let it bubble, that's the CO2. That's the reaction. That's what's happening. You're heating it up. It causes the THCA to release CO2, and you've got THC. That's what gets us high. And I knew it made my caramel stronger. I went from cookies. I was like, okay, fine, cookies, but cookies have a short shelf life. No one wants a cookie that's a day old, right? You don't go to a bakery and buy a day old cookie. I know there's cookies on shelf in grocery stores that are over. We're going to get back to our topic. Just let me have my little tangent, okay? Madam Dram is here for it. Madam Dram is here for it. Is there a way to make edibles with no smell? Yeah, if you use a concentrate. Really depends where you are, okay? Where can I ask you, Maddie, where are you? And there are ways to kind of like help. If you're starting from flour, one way I use a stasher bag, and when I decarb, and that will capture the CO2, and terpenes are really volatile. So some people will really want to preserve the terpenes in cannabis, and I get it. You know, from a flavor perspective, I get it, to have those kind of subtle cannabis flavors in a dish. If you really are in a pinch and you want to decarb quickly and you're not so worried about the subtle flavors of cannabis and terpenes, you can decarb very quickly. And I've shown that on Instagram, and I have the lab testing I looked at it, and you can do it without degrading your THC. You just gotta be careful. Just like with melting chocolate. You can melt chocolate in the microwave, but you risk burning it. That's it. That's the trick. Don't let it burn your shit. Okay, let me put her on the board. Sorry, Jasmine. Okay. All right. I love it. Twitch is saying you're live at 1440 resolution, which is not what we said. Well, I don't know what's going on with Twitch. Output settings. It says default. No, that's not advanced settings. I didn't change anything on Twitch. I'm scared to touch anything, Al. 1 second. I'm going to answer some of these questions. I just want to say, if you really want to get my attention once we keep going into the stream and I continue to get more and more baked, the best thing to do is just send me a little super chat, because then I definitely see your question and I can answer it. You know, kick me a buck to answer a question about this. It's, you know, it kind of, I can just see that. Like, look at Madame Dram. What's Be Real accent? I don't know what that is. I'm from California. I have a California accent, probably. I have a California accent. I don't know what to tell you. Oh, the smell gives her migraines. Oh, okay. So here's what I'd say. Maddie, I would either, if you can get concentrates, get something that's already decarbed, like a RSO, FSO, anything like that is going to be decarbed, or even distillate. I know some people turn their nose up at distillate because it's not full spectrum and it's not solventless. But you know, you're in Louisiana, so I'm kind of like whatever you can get your hands on. If you can only get your hands on flour, what you can do is get that stasher bag, and it needs to be a stasher bag because they're oven safe, and you can decarbon them, or you can do the sous vide process. It takes longer, and it's like there's water involved and whatever. If you don't mind doing it that way and putting it in a vacuum sealed bag, or even using a stasher in the water as well, you can boil it. And I have the time for that. It's on Food 52, to be honest. If you want to look on Food 52, you can look at decarb rates there. But if you want to get my cookbook and have everything like infusion rates of butter, oils, milk, alcohol at room temperature in the freezer, it's all in my cookbook. Let me grab it really quickly. It's sitting right here. So that's what my cookbook is. I took my advance and I turned it into a book, and I did a bunch of lab testing because I like it. Oh, I didn't know that about distillate. That's all I vape. Yeah, Richard Cook. It's not a big deal. Basically, a distillate, they're distilling it just to the cannabinoids, right? So, and then sometimes they'll take it even further and they'll make isolate, and it'll just be CBD. It'll just be THC. They're scientists. They're chemists. This is what they do. That's when you go to the manufacturing facilities. It's like Dexter's laboratory. And they're cool. It's great to talk to them. That's really, as an edible maker, where I get a lot of ideas of how to cook with cannabis in the kitchen, is talking to concentrate makers. And like I said, when I got that big bag of hash, I was like, oh, this is what you cook with. Also, Maddie, if you have a keef catch in the bottom of your grinder, that is using keef to cook. It's the best. You still need to decarb it. And to do that, the process is on my channel. I take parchment paper and make a pouch and then put that into the stasher bag. And then you can take the stasher bag and open it outside if it gives your mom a migraine. And not if, because it gives your mom a migraine. And, or, you know, if you can't go outside because you're worried about your neighbors, you could go into the bathroom with it and turn on the shower and like open it like that. Sometimes that's open it in there and the steam will kind of help. I have a little bit. Yeah. So get a milligram scale so you know exactly how much you have. It's always the number one thing when you're cooking with cannabis is make sure you have a milligram scale. And let me drop my Instagram. Okay, this is for edible makers. Where is that? What the hell did I do with everything here? I made a list. You obviously you don't have to get everything here. Don't worry. It's okay. But I want to, oops. I didn't mean to do that. Copy link. Here is store things for edible makers, including my cookbook is in here in this list. It's Amazon. Full disclosure, I get a little fee, a little commission. I work on commission. I'm gonna drop that. I guess you guys can't really click on anything in Instagram. But whatever, you have a big ass sign that says, come watch me live on YouTube because that's where the fun is. Okay, let's keep watching. Oh, they're watching that. That's funny. They're watching themselves. Okay, let's keep watching this. I got distracted.
Their secrets are now resting somewhere in the Pacific. So for anyone wanting to find out where it is, best of luck to you. Despite the crash, the mission is being called failed and the capsule crashed into
You guys, I got very distracted. Do you think I have ADHD? We got to go back a little bit. So they put this out into space and it crashed.
Into space either. Back in 2020, SpaceX sent cannabis cell cultures to the International Space Station to study how microgravity affects plant development. It's pretty cool, actually, when you think about it. And what's even cooler, here's the twist. The capsule, called Nick's Mission Possible, was supposed to splash down in the Pacific Ocean near Hawaii. But just minutes before landing, communication was lost. The parachute system failed, and the capsule crashed into the ocean, destroying the experiment. So while the seeds made it to space and orbited Earth, their secrets are now resting somewhere in the Pacific. So for anyone wanting to find out where it is, best of luck to you. Despite...
Okay, so they sent these seeds all the way to space and then it crashed into the ocean and they couldn't find it. What a bunch of junk. How much money was wasted on that? Petra, what? Oh, wait, what happened? I'm having an allergic reaction to something. What's going on? What kind of, go to the doctor. Don't be telling us in the chat, man, if you're having an allergic reaction. You know, like head over to the doctor. Yes. Don't tell us. Go. Or take I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not a medical expert. Go see your doctor. Or do you ever take tea breaks? I wonder if you can mix up the smoking tea breaks with edibles, weed, and food. Then it wouldn't be a tea break. I think if you're the point of a tea break, in my opinion, is to kind of just like reset your receptors, just give everything a break. If you're taking edibles, it's still like in your system. There is a big, fat, aggressive fly in my house right now. I want to let it outside. Give me a second. Maybe I can shoo it outside. I haven't taken a tea break in a very long time, to answer your question. Give me a second. I'm going to keep playing him.
Despite the crash, the mission is being called a partial success. The capsule launched, stabilized, and re-entered Earth's atmosphere, and the team behind it is already planning a follow-up mission, this time with the more advanced capsule that could support long-term plant growth in orbit. They're also working on simulated Martian soil experiments here on Earth, testing how cannabis interacts with different nutrients and environmental stressors. So you may ask, why does this all matter? This story might sound quirky, but it's part of a much bigger trend. As space exploration innovation becomes more and more commercial and collaborative, biological research is going orbital, and cannabis, with its genetic complexity and practical uses, is a perfect test subject. So whether it's for medicine, materials, or mental health, cannabis could play a role in sustaining life beyond Earth. And who would have thought that? So what do you all think of this story? You interested in it? Does it sound pretty quirky? Or does it sound like, you know what, there's so much we don't know about this plant? In the end, is cannabis the crop for the future in Mars? Who knows? But we'd love to get your curiosity, so leave your comments below. Let's keep this conversation going. Again,
going. Chicana Juarez says Burner made a track sending seeds to space like Elon. Really? I don't know. Kathleen, I was gonna say that, but I just get nervous. I don't know what's up with everybody's body, and I don't like to tell people what to do. Okay. Let's keep watching videos on weed in space. That's the show. We sent weed to space. Where did that go? I have too many things open. Okay, so what do you guys think of that? What's the chat saying? Chat, what's up, chat? I sound like one of the kids. Chat, tell me, chat. But you're actually here. There's a chat. Pull a bong. You want me to hit the bong? All right, Kyle. I see you. You're one of my members. So is Chicana Juarez. Oh, wait, no, you're not. You're just like a number one. Someone jacked the seeds and crashed that shit. Oh. Okay, let's watch another video, but I want to do a poll. I'm curious if it didn't crash into the ocean, which is hilarious, right? Start a poll. Sorry, I didn't mean to cough right into the thing. And we're going to do this. The poll is on YouTube if you want to know. Let's do it. I feel like I know what the answer is going to be. Love the live show. Thanks, Dib760. We're kind of just chilling right now. And drink some water. Sometimes I have to get up and go because I'm a human being. I can't just sit here for hours and hours and hours without getting up and having to drink water or get a little treat for myself or whatever. So just letting you know. If you're tuning in. Okay, so we're going to watch something new, and I'm looking at what you guys are saying. Yes, I thought you would say yes. Duh. All right. Let's watch another video. But let me make sure it works before. Ooh, yes, and it's perfect. Oh, no.
One doesn't often think of hemp in space, but that's where it's headed. I'm joined with Front Range Biosciences CEO, Dr. Jonathan Vaught. You got to explain this to me because I looked at what your company is doing and I found it so fascinating. Why are you sending hemp to space?
That's a great question. So our company is focused on breeding and development of new hemp varieties. And one of the tools that we use is genomics to better understand how the plant performs from a biological perspective. And by putting plants into a unique environment like space where there's zero gravity, it gives us an opportunity to understand how the underlying biology of the plant works in this new environment. And if you imagine for a second that plants on Earth spend most of their energy growing up and defying gravity, when you take gravity away, the question comes, where does all that energy go?
Whoa.
So it goes into other pathways, it goes into other
what kind of pathways?
Unique characteristics that we might observe in these plants in the zero gravity environment.
Whoa.
So what are some real world applications from this information that you're going to learn?
Well, the first experiment is really just to lay the foundation to understand what types of changes we observe at the molecular level or at the genomic level in these plants. And then from there, we hope to use some of that to better inform our genomic mapping studies, which help us develop markers for improved breeding, which leads to a more efficient and streamlined breeding process, basically.
That's cool.
And so once you're able to map those genomes, does that mean that you can really lock down certain varieties and strains of hemp? Like, okay, this is the one that is best for this purpose, or also to permit the idea that, you know, you could almost maybe patent some of these particular genes?
Yeah, so certainly intellectual property is an important part of our strategy in terms of how we protect our new plant varieties. But I think the important thing to keep in mind is that with a better understanding of the underlying genome and how that affects the different characteristics or traits in the plant, we can better target our breeding. And so by exposing these plants to zero gravity and then even exposing them to other stressors like unique salt concentrations or even pathogens or other stressors that might cause the plant to mutate, for example, or to respond to the stress of that environment, it opens the door for us to better understand.
Okay, I have a new one for you guys. Whoa. You guys, whoa. Mutated cannabis plants, right? You get it. They stress it out in the plant because the plant wants to survive. It mutates. And cannabis is so good at doing that. Like, that's why, like, today, Sonoma Hills Farm, they posted that one of their plants, their really nice female plants, had sprouted a male branch or whatever. And that's enough to pollinate like all of their females. So you don't want that. But that's just because the plant, I talk about this in my cookbook. It says, fuck you guys. I want to make some babies. I want some seeds.
How we could breed for traits that might improve performance here on Earth. So things like certain types of mineral content or other salt content in the soil, for example, that might not be beneficial if we can breed plants that can grow more effectively in some of these more challenging environments here on Earth. It opens the door for farmers to be able to grow without having to put as much effort and resource into growing and managing.
It's kind of like dry farming when they intentionally don't, you know, our instinct is to just really nurture the plant, really take care of it and baby it and give it the best soil and give it the best, all the light it wants and all the, oh no, is your nitrogen low? Oh, we'll fix it. You know, it's so babied. And yeah, you get these really like nice plants. Sometimes they don't, you know, talk to cultivators about it. It's complicated. And with dry farming, like you do the opposite of that. You let the plant kind of survive, have to figure it out. I don't know how that works with cannabis, but with trees like nut trees, any kind of fruit trees that need a lot of water, what it does is it helps it so the roots go deeper, searching for water deeper rather than relying on the water that you're putting on the topsoil. So anyway, I'm not an expert in any of this, but that's what it reminds me of.
Managing their plants.
Okay, how did you arrange this?
That's right,
Because
Sir Stabulous.
one doesn't just say, "Hey, will you bring my hemp seeds to space?" And you're going out on SpaceX. So explain to me that process. How did you actually get this to happen?
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting how these things come about, for sure. So we're one of the few companies in the industry that does or uses a process called tissue culture. So we actually work with plants in a laboratory setting, and the plant samples that we're actually going to be sending to space are actually not seeds. They're not even whole plants. It's actually a form of the plant called callus. So this is basically like plant stem cells that will be in a petri dish. And when so we're one of the only companies that has the ability to do this in hemp and as well as coffee. And we're also sending coffee. It's not just hemp, but we're also sending coffee callus to space as well to understand the effects on that plant. But so it's a unique form. And so we were one of the few companies that actually had the ability to do this and quickly, because the timelines have been fairly quick to meet the launch timing, which is just in a couple of weeks now, I think. So anyway, so yeah, and so we're working with a company called Space Cells. They're funding the project, and it's a three-way collaboration between Space Cells, the BioServe group out of the University of Colorado at Boulder. So that's actually where I did my PhD work, so I have some connections to CU Boulder. So there's a bunch of connections here that brought all this together, but at the end of the day, it's a joint collaboration between those groups, and then we'll obviously be working with the ISS National Lab, the International Space Station, to coordinate the effort, as that's where most of the experiment will take place up in space.
Do you get to go to the launch?
I could. I will see if my schedule will allow me to. I have a pretty busy schedule running the company, but we'll see. I think some of my staff for sure might be there, the ones that prepared the samples, and I believe that at the BioServe Center at CU, they actually will have footage, and they have 24-hour camera monitoring of what's going on in the space station and launch and all of the different parts of the project. So there will be an opportunity, I think, for us to view it, a lot of it live, via TV.
All right. Well, this is super interesting. The thought that we're taking, this very old plant that's known for many old industrial uses, and then bringing it to space to see what's going to happen. That is Dr. Jonathan Vaught from Front Range Biosciences, and I'm Deborah Borchardt with the Green Market Report.
Thank you. Thank you. We love it. You can see what I like to watch. Hey, look, it's the club sesh. It's happening right now. I made a little thumbnail with me and Bonbon. Okay, where is my OBS? There. And I want to pull up another. Okay, wait, should we pause? Let's pause. Oh, I need to plug my phone in. 1 secondo. And 2, should I get a little treat? Okay, so 70% of you said you would buy space-flown butts. Very interesting. Very interesting. We're going to end this poll. What's that, Bonbon? The squirrel and and Bonbon have a conversation. I feel like I need a little treat. Like a something. I don't know. Oh, Bonbon. Let's see. Oh, you're just going to get her legs. But let's see if she'll lay down. YouTube, you can't really see. I'm trying to let you know. I'll put it up there. You can see. No, YouTube doesn't need to see that. Or Instagram doesn't need to see Bonbon. I love OBS. I can play with things so much. Ooh. Okay. All right. I feel like I need a little treat. I'm going to order something. I don't know what yet. I need a little treat. I feel like it needs to be something crunchy because my sound is so good now. So what's something crunchy? Let's see. I'm open to suggestions, people. Oh, there she is. 1 second. I just want to make it a little closer. Sorry, Mama. Sorry, no. I'm not going to touch it because otherwise she's going to get up. But I'm going to move it like this and put this like that. So I can kind of like zoom in on her bed, but not put it too close to her. Instagram can't see what I'm doing, but YouTube can. That's why there's a big sign that says, come on over to YouTube. Okay, there's a little pop on. Okay, I'm looking at what you guys are saying. Cody, oh, you should be so sorry. How dare you be late? I'm going to put you on the board. Thank you for the super chat. No apologies needed. I kind of want to show Instagram pop on. Okay, I'm going to put this up here. Oops, no. And then put this here. I think they can see that pretty nicely. Adorable. I know, she's really cute. She's really cute, that little doggy. What should we eat? Let's see. All right, let's watch a video while I decide. BLT, something I can order. Bacon, I don't know if I can get a bacon, lettuce, tomato ordered. Okay. I want to watch another video. Let's watch this. Let's watch this. Put it here and just wait. We got to go over to the watch scene. And I guess we can put pop on in here. Oh, why is that? Oh, because it needs to be above the browser. Oops. Of course. And then I'm going to play this.
Hundreds of seeds, fungi, algae, and human DNA samples will make their maiden voyage aboard a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket, launching from Vandenberg Space Force Base in California.
This sounds like AI. I'm going to pause it because it sounds like AI, okay? And whenever I hear something that sounds like AI, I pause it and I go, that sounds like AI. I don't want to listen to that. That's some bullshit. So, Ramona, a quesadilla. Ooh, that would be messy. That sounds good though. Trying a new strain today. Kush Crasher. Yum. Okay, let's watch another one about how plants adapt in space.
Plants are our most important partners in our quest for space exploration. How well we can grow plants in space will determine the fate of our interplanetary
Okay, it's not that
ambitions.
long.
We got to talk to one of the top experts in the field.
But the ultimate objective is growing plants on.
Okay, so Salo Fuego has a question for me. And I'm just going to say, if you really want me to pause, I'm going to do this one because it's a cute question. But please send me a super chat. That's how this all goes. That's how I keep the stream going. That's how how we can keep doing this. I'm happy to share some of my expertise with you, but it does help if you send me a super chat. So, been growing medicinal plants for a long time. And a pollen chucker, I want to highlight my new cultivars. But Instagram or haters, any tips for someone who is shy to be on camera? I would say shy to be on camera. Well, you don't have to be on camera, but I think you have to find ways around Instagram. What I find is cultivators like to just kind of post pictures of their plants, and that's not going to help you go viral. Which I don't know why you're on social media, but I guess my goal is to increase my reach, my audience, have more people get my message, right? That's why I'm on social media. And so there's tips and tricks to doing that. There's accounts that you can follow that give you different ideas. But just it doesn't have to be so cannabis, right? I hate to say that because I don't say things like gardening. I don't say things like broccoli and stuff like that. But I do not talk around it, but kind of try not to push it too much. But the last video that is doing really well for me is the mac and cheese Zaza poppers, right? The first clip is me dumping a bunch of bud into butter. So, and that was what always used to upset me about other accounts that I would see that were performing really well. I'd be like, what the fuck? How come they can just throw weed into it? And it came after I feel like it's possible because it's educational and because I'm interweaving it with other content in my life, right? So it's just it's not just that content, it's other things. And I'm very clearly not selling a product. So you can create content and talk about your cultivars without having to just take a couple photos of the plants and be like, look what I grew. Find a different way to tell that story. Does that make sense? You can do it. I believe in you. Get creative. And yeah, Sir Stabulous says, fucking booparoony. I want a super chat. Okay, I'm making a goal. I want a super chat and I want 10 super chats and we're gonna do it. It's gonna be, what time is it? 5:27. So we're gonna do this for an hour because we're getting into this. How will I celebrate? I'll take a super boop. I'll take a super boop. Wait, why did it say an error occurred? Please try again. It doesn't want to let me start a goal. Maybe we need to do more super chats. Let's do light blue. We'll do 20. And I'll say super boop. Okay. they didn't know. I think that I'll take was like, they didn't like that. Oh, look at Bob coming in. Let's put Bob on the board. One of my first emails was Bob on the moon. Ow! I don't know what it means, but why did that burn me? Huh. That's weird. I review ice cream cake on my page. Yum. That sounds good. I love ice cream cake. I'm going to take a boop. I'm going to order some food. I'm going to take a boop. Let's watch a little bit of this. And I have to get some more boop.
The moon to learn what not to do.
Feels a little
because
loud.
when you get to Mars, you can't really make mistakes.
This is Plants in Space. Hey, I'm Tasha, and you're watching Floralogic. Today, we're looking up at the stars to look for space plants. Nope, I'm not talking about a monster from a sci-fi flick, but rather our favorite space station carry-ons. Plants have always been an important part of humanity's dreams of space travel. In fact, we launched plant seeds into space 15 years before we mustered up the courage to climb into manned spacecraft ourselves. Even pre-crewed missions, we understood that the conditions of space were probably less than habitable for humans. So sending seeds enabled us to get a first glimpse into how microgravity and the ionizing radiation of space would impact biological life forms. The first case of sending plant matter into space was in 1946.
Okay, let me check. Oh, Bishoppa. Patricia.
In White Sands, New Mexico.
Oh my gosh, the super chats are coming in. You heard me. I love Tasha, right? That's her name. I hope I'm remembering her name. And no offense, because my memory isn't so hot. Let's do... Bishoppa's on the board. Patricia's on the board. Okay, I'm looking at things to order. Something crunchy. Why is it not letting me click it? Uh-oh.
Mexico.
Oh, there we go.
These rockets, called V2.
Bob, you're sending another super chat? Okay, Bob, you get a heart. When you send more than one super chat, you get a heart next to your name. That's what happens.
Were the first long-range guided ballistic missiles. They were developed by the Nazis and captured by the Americans during the Second World War. Between 1946 and 1952, many such rocket launches took place, carrying a variety of seeds beyond the Kármán line, which is widely accepted as the edge of space at about 100 kilometers above sea level. These first spacebound seeds included corn, rye, and cottonseed, as well as fungus spores. After these seeds were brought back to Earth, they were planted to see if they were still viable. Scientists learned that while germination can be delayed or rates reduced by exposure to space, most seeds were still good to grow.
Wow.
The most famous of these space seeds became what are known as the moon trees. As part of NASA's third trip to the lunar surface in 1971, astronaut and former U.S. Forest Service smoke jumper Stuart Roosa brought thousands of loblolly pine, sycamore, sweet gum, redwood, and Douglas fir seeds along for the ride. The U.S. Forest Service sent these seeds with him and kept some on Earth as a control group to see if there was any difference in germination and growth after their time in space. Many of the space seeds...
Shout out to my team at the Baked Chicken Farm in New Mexico. Boop, boop. I love it. Let me put you on the board. Let me put you on the board. People don't even know. Oop, this microphone is in my way. All right, you're on the board, Sir Stabulus. 505. Let's go. Okay, I'll take a boop while we. This isn't the super boop. Okay, this isn't the super boop. This is not the super boop. This is the baby boop. It's not a baby boop, but it's kind of a baby boop. It's all that's left of this papaya bomb. But don't worry, I got another little gram in the fridge. But then I got to get some more. But that's okay. Let me show you. I don't even know what you guys can see because I'm not looking. Oh, look at my sweet little baby. Look at my sweet little doggy dog. Sweet little doggy dog. And boop. Boop-a-doop. 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 Boop. Boop-a-doop. Boop-a-doop. Hi, ILGM. It's ILGM. It's ILGM. Hi, LGM. If you guys don't already like and subscribe to ILGM, make sure you do. ILGM, we're learning about seeds in space. Did you know that they sent cannabis seeds to space to see how gravity and all of that would impact the seeds? Sounds very interesting.
Seeds grew and were later planted in special ceremonies to commemorate the bicentennial of the establishment of the United States in 1976. You can still find moon trees and their half-moon tree descendants today all around the U.S. Even more than 50 years later, we're still sending seeds into space.
I gotta order my
and they're
lunch,
being run through the
my
gauntlet
dinner.
on the International Space Station. In 2021, barley seeds provided by a popular whiskey brand were added to the Materials International Space Station experiment platform, located outside the ISS. Here, the seeds are exposed to extremes as the ISS whips around the Earth once every 90-ish minutes. As the ISS orbits in and out of the Earth's shadow, the temperature fluctuates about 200 degrees Celsius. The results of these kinds of experiments help to inform us of what kind of plants might be viable crops in the harshest conditions of space. Once back on Earth, the barley seeds that were on the MISS platform germinated, seemingly completely unfazed by their insane journey. The space barley seeds that weren't grown for science were sent back to the distiller to make what I can only assume will one day be called space whiskey. And in a nod to the original moon trees, Artemis 1, an uncrewed mission that explored the moon in 2022, once again brought seeds from loblolly pine, American sycamore, sweet gum, Douglas fir, and giant sequoia trees for a new generation of moon trees on Earth. But space plant research isn't just about seeing if seeds will germinate on Earth after re-entry. Experiments also center around growing plants in the conditions of space, since the very future of habitation in space and on other planets utterly depends on it. We wanted to understand the logistics of space farming.
Listen, there's no way, sorry, that was loud. No way. I'm going to hit this one more time. No way. I'm going to space, living on Mars. Not that that's even an option, but if I had to, like, 1 second. Sometimes I hit it twice, like way a lot of times on low. Okay? I don't care if that's the right thing to do. It's what I like to do. Okay? Okay?
So our producer,
Andreas,
asked
what I was going to say is I would never, like, if they were like, oh, the Earth, we can't live on the Earth anymore. Everyone has to go to Mars. We've been building out. I'm like 90 or something and we haven't exploded the planet already, whatever. Who knows what's going to happen? There's an Italian expression. It's when someone says vedremo, which means we'll see. I used to say it all the time. I used to say vedremo, vedremo. And my my ex suochera would say, dice el cieco. And it means says the blind man. It's a little ableist, but it's a idiom. Like no one knows the future, right? No one knows the future. So in this make-believe hypothetical future where we all have to go to Mars because we let the oligarchs take over and they decided they wanted to destroy the planet so they could stick more drugs up their nose and things up their butt. And so anyway, so they're like, we got to go to Mars. And somehow I get selected to go to Mars. They're like, this lady, she knows how to cook. Only skill of that would be of value. And I can garden. And there would have to be weed. If they're like, there's no weed on Mars, I'd be like, fuck it. I'll die on Earth. Thank you. I'll just get really high. That would be the biggest super boop I would ever take. It would be the biggest super boop. Andrew says just back from Mars, so much water. We should open a water park. Yeah, there's no water on Mars, right? So anyway, I don't know what's going on with space. It's all confusing and scary, but I don't want to go. I have no desire. I know they're trying to make those like space trips like some kind of thing, and I'm sure it will be, just like those people who paid all that money to get into that submarine to go look at the Titanic. Like, listen, if you ask me, no, maybe not. Even when I was a little kid and that movie came out, I was super obsessed with it. I was like, the Titanic, it's so cool. You know, I want to save up. I want to love the Titanic. But people will pay to do things. I don't want to go to space. It's not my thing. Let's keep watching this. The plant is so unique. It might come from space. Cannabis. Interesting. Well, we're in space. What do you mean come from space? Of course it comes from space. We're space. We're in space. We're space. So it comes from space. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you mean from like an asteroid? Like it came in from a different part of space? Not the Milky Way. Which part do you think? Anyway.
One of the world's top experts in growing plants in controlled environments to tell us all about the challenges of extraterrestrial farming.
I gotta order some.
Dr. Mike Dixon. I'm the director of the Controlled Environment Systems Research Facility.
I know what I'm gonna get.
University Professor Emeritus at the University of Guelph.
I was reading some of your papers, and of course, two of the main issues are air pressure and also the kind of like the formula of the gases that you put in that air. So could you just tell me a little bit of how that affects the plants, and also, do we try to imitate Earth air in those environments, or are there other formulas that work better in those type of situations?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. The scientific issue that we addressed back 25 years ago, how low can you take the pressure and still have plants performing their functions that we require of them? Food, oxygen, recycling fresh water, scrubbing CO2, and making us feel good. And if the answer had been, well, you need full Earth atmosphere, then
why not? Oh, it's sold out.
With the kind of technology that we can consider today, human space exploration is done.
Building space farms with conditions identical to those of Earth is simply impossible right now. And even if it was possible, it would take so much energy to do that it would be more efficient to just deliver food in spaceships. So, can we do it without an Earth-like atmosphere?
Well, it turns out plants are pretty tough. We could take the pressure down to 1/10 of Earth's atmospheric pressure, so roughly 10 kilopascals total pressure, as long as 7 of them are oxygen, 1.2 water vapor, 0.1 CO2, and then a little bit of argon or nitrogen.
Okay, you guys, I think
gas.
I know what I'm
that's
getting.
the recipe. And if you start seeds under those conditions, they will perform as though they're growing in your backyard garden. So success, I mean, human space exploration can continue.
But that means that the weak link will be suspiciously great ape-shaped.
So plants are not going to be the limitation. It's us. We're the weakness. We can't survive at 10 kilopascals and 7 kilopascals of oxygen. We need, 20 plus kPa of oxygen. Our respiration demands are much greater than plants. So plants aren't going to be the limitation. They will be our life support.
The other factor is gravity. Is there any
Space
effect
OG.
on plants?
What did ILG? We should sell
The
seeds
only
that have been to
experience
space.
we had there is
Yes.
some of the experiments.
Oh my God, ILGM. Can we do that? Can we send space? Can we send seeds to space? That should be your next thing that you do. I think that would be so cool. Can we come up with a strain? Can we have a space strain? That needs to be a thing. Can we do that? Let's talk. We got to talk off the live, outside the live. We'll talk because that would be so fun. Do you think that could be possible? Why not? Right? If anyone can make it happen, it's ILGM. Anyway. Okay, everyone loves it. Super chat. Super chat. Listen, we've got 3 super chats. Although I think there was really 4. It wasn't counting one. I don't know why it does that. Okay. Let's keep watching.
That our colleagues at NASA
Why
have
isn't it
deployed
big
on the
for you
International
guys?
Space Station. And they have a centrifuge there
weird.
that allows them to replicate partial
Make
gravity,
this bigger.
like 1/6 or
Is it not
1/3,
theater?
which is Mars and the Moon.
Oh, there we go.
In my opinion, and this is widely held,
Wait, let me make
we
this
don't need to
smaller now.
consider microgravity such as the International Space Station. Because remember that mass and energy issue?
Oops.
We don't
not
need
that
to
small.
spend those mass and energy resources
Sorry, you guys. It's getting
in
mad at me.
low Earth orbit, because we can just resupply the International Space
Wow,
Station.
Sir
indefinitely, as we do.
Stabulous.
It's when
You're
we
really
get
my
on
cheerleader.
the surface
Appreciate
of
it.
Mars that it becomes
Tell them.
much,
You
much
tell
more,
them. Tell them.
required and almost critical in the long term. So we have to
I'll put on my
figure out
Rihanna.
what not to do on the moon, which was currently the
Put on
plan.
the
I don't know
Fenty.
where it's going now, but figure out what the challenges are in a
Oh, wait, I gotta
1/6
order my
gravity
food.
well. But
Finish
at least there's
ordering.
an up and a
Stay
down.
focused.
And so water will go around in a reasonably predictable way. You know, we can do the arithmetic and figure that all out, but we have to get it done before
Should I
we
get
have long-term exploration
Yes.
missions on Mars with many explorers that require life support.
The food grown on Mars would have to be small plants that grow in high densities. Tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, leafy greens, high-calorie staples like potatoes, and protein-rich plants like soybeans and duckweed. Farm animals would be too energetically expensive to grow, so meat is off the menu. Medicinal plants are another key component of space farming.
We're working with a molecular biology group working with tobacco,
Whoa.
a specific strain of tobacco that produces the breast cancer drug Herceptin with a process that they've patented.
Okay, this is going to come at the end of the
Red
stream.
sage is another crop we're looking at. Medicinal mushrooms. There's a wide range of
Perfect.
them, and we're working on a particular strain called reishi, which has medicinal applications.
Reishi?
And then nutraceuticals like mint
Cool.
and cilantro.
I love
are
mint.
Other crops that we're looking
And
at,
that's the thing.
which have
What's the one rule about mint, everyone? What's the number one rule about growing mint? Anybody? Anybody? What's the number one rule? Put it in a pot, right? Unless you really don't care and you're like, yeah, I've got so much land. I don't care if mint takes over this whole area because I don't know. You just don't care because you've just got so much land. It doesn't matter. Mint spreads. It is very invasive, but delicious.
broad range tech transfer to commercial opportunities.
That too, Sir
Looking
Stabulous,
even
because it'll
further
choke
than
them.
that, there are greater challenges if we ever venture beyond Mars.
First of all, taking supplies for missions.
See, Liberty Genetics, I would never, unless I really dried the mint out. I've put it in my compost, but every time I do, it just always starts growing. That's what happens if I put mint in my compost, which isn't a bad thing. I had to stop composting anyway.
That could be years long is not sustainable.
That's true, Kyle.
Food will have to be grown in space to keep those on board fed in the long run. Secondly, in the almost perfect vacuum of space, there's nothing but a few protons per square meter, and certainly no breathable air. Humans figured out long ago that we need to BYO oxygen when leaving Earth. We've already come up with ways to create oxygen in space.
Whoa, cool.
On the ISS, they use a process called electrolysis.
Yeah, but that
in
would
which
make me
electricity
so
is run through
scared.
water and splits the bonded hydrogen and oxygen atoms.
Because, like, what if that
Plants
stopped
not only
working?
make oxygen, they also absorb the pesky carbon dioxide we exhale. Thirdly, plants are good for our well-being. We know from our lives on Earth
I love
that
plants.
being near plants is good for our mental health.
Yeah,
In Japan, it's called Shinrin-yoku, or forest bathing,
cool.
which is the therapeutic act of simply being among the trees. Doctors in Japan will recommend Shinrin-yoku to patients who are removed from nature in urban settings for their well-being.
That's
What
true.
could be
That's
more
cool.
removed from nature than being hundreds of thousands or even millions of kilometers from Earth?
I love
According
it.
to NASA, fresh flowers and gardens in space give astronauts a beautiful environment and lets them stay connected to nature
Totally.
on Earth. They also
Gonna
promote
turn
overall psychological well-being for crew members. But growing plants in microgravity would be a challenge. We know that being in microgravity too long has a serious impact on the human body, causing everything from bone loss to muscle atrophy to changes
That's
in
right.
balance, the immune system.
I wonder how those
even
astronauts
eyesight.
are doing.
We also know from Earth that it's almost impossible to study deep-sea fish on the surface because the difference in pressure changes them so dramatically, sometimes even killing them. It's why the
Ooh.
internet-famous blobfish looks like a pile of goo on the surface.
Ew.
So how would plants fare in space in the absence of gravity? How would they grow without the orientation gravity gives to their roots and shoots? NASA had its first harvest in 2015 with a batch of red lettuce. The space lettuce proved to be more bitter than red lettuce on Earth, which is likely due to increased levels of sesquiterpene lactones, naturally protective chemicals that occur in these types of lettuces when they're grown under stress. The purpose of these protective chemicals is to combat potential bacteria or fungi, discourage neighboring plants from stealing resources, or make curious animals, or even astronauts, want to avoid eating them. Apparently, the astronauts didn't mind because everything tastes bland in space. The fluids in the body pool more evenly all over, causing slight nasal congestion and making it like trying to taste food when you have a head cold. That's why astronauts gravitate towards stronger flavors. Soon after the first lettuce came space's first flowers, zinnias, in 2016, which were immortalized by Commander Scott Kelly with his photo and caption, "Yes, there are other life forms in space." Much like the zinnias he grew, Kelly himself was a space experiment.
That's
Just like the moon tree seeds, after a year aboard the ISS, Scott Kelly was compared to his control subject, his twin brother Mark, who had remained on Earth to test for physiological, molecular, and cognitive changes. After his retirement, Kelly was given some dried zinnia seeds from the flowers he grew in space to plant in his own garden. Since then, we've successfully grown an Earth's bounty of crops in space. From cucumbers, cabbage, wheat,
Kyle,
mustard,
you don't fly.
rice, and romaine
I don't like
lettuce,
flying
to
either, but
sunflowers
I gotta
and
do it.
tulips. Currently on the ISS, there's a greenhouse called the Vegetable Production System, or VEGgie for short, that serves the dual purpose of scientific study and giving the astronauts aboard some much appreciated fresh produce. When you're eating rehydrated, freeze-dried meals out of a bag for months, a nice green and crunchy cucumber must taste like the heavens. These gardens aren't the ones of sci-fi that take up an entire area of the ship.
That's
Veggie
cool.
is only about the size of a carry-on suitcase. Each plant is grown in a sort of pillow, chock full of clay-like soil and fertilizer.
That's really
Plants are
cool.
grown this way because in zero gravity, roots spread in weird directions.
Really?
loose soil
Oh yeah,
floats away,
zero gravity.
And water beads, which kills the plant from drought. If you've ever seen a video of how liquid turns itself into glistening spheres in space, you'll get the name for creating a basis for plants that keep soil together and roots hydrated. Without gravity to guide their upward growth, LED lights that mimic the sun tell these space plants which direction to grow. Actually, let's see what liquids look like in space again.
Oh my god. How are they watering the plants?
Amazing. The other garden on the ISS is called the Advanced Plant Habitat.
Hi,
It's
Petra.
automated and controlled from Earth. Sensors and cameras constantly monitor the growth of the plants, and water is automatically given. The only care they need from the astronauts is harvesting when they're ready. One of the goals of the advanced plant habitat is to understand how microgravity affects lignin, the plant equivalent of bones, and if plants that are genetically modified to have less lignin could potentially be more nutritious and easier to compost in space. Having a constant supply of nutritious food is going to be essential for long-distance space travel. A one-way trip to Mars currently would take about 9 months. NASA sends food supplies to the ISS on average every 45 days, which means we'd have to have good crops to be able to make it to Mars and back. And that's not even accounting for the time spent on the barren red planet. Okay, so through all of these experiments, we know that although it's more challenging to grow plants in orbit, it is entirely possible. But what about on the moon? An experiment in 2022 set out to understand if plants could be grown in soil taken from the moon. Samples from the Apollo 11, 12, and 17 were used to grow mustard family member Thale cress.
With moils.
All the samples did grow, but were not as robust and showed genetic signs of stress. This research is also aiming to help us understand how we can modify plants to grow in less than ideal conditions.
But that's gonna happen, you guys. Would you eat moon plants? Let me ask you. Can I do a poll? Can I do a poll? Would you eat moon plants? Hi, Multotube. Would you eat moon plants? I want to know. Like if they brought lettuce back, would you eat a moon lettuce? Moon grown.
But it's not just in lunar soil. Plants have also now been grown on the moon itself.
That's what I mean.
In January 2019, China's Chang'e 4 lunar lander touched down on the far side with a miniature growth chamber stocked with cotton, rapeseed, potatoes, and Arabidopsis seeds on board. The purpose of this experiment was to lay the foundation for future habitation on the moon.
In space research, almost everything has applications on Earth. The learning from these missions can help us grow crops in food deserts and polar regions.
Wow.
It could also help us grow medicinal plants all over the world. So, what else would Mike like to see grown on our only natural satellite? Remember the space barley we mentioned earlier? Yep, that was Mike.
I was part of an international committee called the Candidate Crop Selection Committee. And as the Canadian delegate, at the very first meeting I attended at Kennedy Space Center, I proposed barley and roses. Roses, I rationalized
wow.
the psychological benefit. Imagine the favors you could get with that first dozen roses from the
moon roses.
Nevertheless, roses were rejected.
Why?
Because once again, that mass and energy. You can't afford the mass and energy cost of growing a plant that you're not going to eat.
Right.
It's driven by food. So, okay, roses were out. I accepted that. But then I put barley on the table. And I made the mistake of supporting my submission with the proclamation that humans always make alcohol.
Sadly, this was an argument that in the low-gravity environment of the moon didn't hold much weight. That is until Ray Wheeler, a crop scientist at NASA and a kindred spirit, joined the team.
So Ray and I, over dinner at his place one night, we colluded. And,
that made me thirsty.
Barley is now officially on the human space exploration candidate crop list.
I need more
huge
water.
Win for people who like beer and whiskey.
Get another video.
And a great day for Canada, and therefore the world. Thanks, Mike, for taking the time to chat with us.
For the future of space plants, I am simply over the moon. The sky's the limit in what they can achieve. My advice about growing plants in space? Keep reaching for the stars. Until then, I'm
Very cool. Very, very, very cool. I like that. The most deadly mushroom growing in your backyard. Whoa. Let's see. I want to make sure these aren't AI before I want to see this because I'm very curious. But let's make sure it's not AI.
I don't know about you, but
yeah, she looks real. Gotta check.
I don't know about you, but I never eat enough vegetables. They're just so unappealing.
Yeah,
but maybe I'd be more tempted to eat them
I'm gonna get some
if
water.
They came from outer space. Hey guys, Julia here for D News. So recently, astronauts aboard the International Space Station chowed down on the first bite of space lettuce. It's technically red lettuce, but they call it outrageous lettuce. Get it? Get it? Oh, it's so bad it's good. Puns aside, I'm super stoked that NASA astronauts Jel Lindgren and Scott Kelly, along with Japanese astronaut Kimiya Yui, got their dose of leafy greens while orbiting 220 miles above the surface of the Earth. In what's considered an important step to self-sustaining systems, NASA scientists grew the lettuce in microgravity over a period of 35 days. It's not the first batch, though. Other plants have been grown aboard the station. One study published in the journal BMC Plant Biology discussed small white flowers that grew in space to see how well they would grow without a lot of gravity. And just last year, lettuce was grown that was sent back to Earth to be analyzed for safety
I ordered
concerns.
something, Petra.
Once they got the A-OK, another round of plants were grown. So how do you grow plants in space? It's a little tricky since plants have evolved stems
It'll be here
to
at
fight against
6:40.
gravitational forces. So how would they grow in low and microgravity? Well, pretty well apparently. The ISS uses the veggie system developed by Orbital Technologies in Madison, Wisconsin. The system contains
Hi,
lighting
Cannabis
and nutrients for a
Cowboy.
space garden. Yes, space garden. This particular garden contains red, blue,
need
and
a
green
pillow.
LEDs. The red and blue mostly for plant growth and health, the green so the plants don't look weird under the red and blue lights and more resemble lettuce grown here on Earth. The plants get their nutrients from a pillow, and pillows can come in various sizes depending on what kind of veggies are grown in them. Pillows only work once though, but that's by design. That way there's a reduced chance of microbial growth from the system in plants. For plants that might have more microbes, a sanitation method they can do in the space station will have to be developed. Like Scott Kelly and his buddies, for instance, use citric acid-based food-safe wipes.
Hey, I
in the
use
lettuce
citric
and
acid.
onion. Besides providing a source of nutrients that's not freeze-dried,
In my
maybe
gummies.
space gardens can offer other benefits too.
Cool.
Dr. Joya Massa, one of the scientists working on veggie, says there may be a psychological benefit. In extended manned missions with only a half a dozen or so crew, space can be tiring and lonely. But tending to a garden might give the astronauts' mood a boost. Some studies, like one published in the journal Hort Science, show that gardening and greenery increases positive mood. Gardening helps people feel more relaxed, pleased, and optimistic. Definitely feelings we might need as we leave our home planet. Growing plants without Earth soil will be crucial to any long-term trip to a planet like Mars. With limited resources and not a lot of chances for restocking, expeditions will have to be self-sustaining. Scott Kelly called this experiment a big step in that direction. But this research can
I
help
shoulda
us
got
here
my
at home
rosin.
too. A lot of the same technology, the LEDs, the pillows, and the watering system could help us farm more efficiently. We could grow food in smaller spaces.
I'm putting
and with
another
less
video and then
energy.
I'm gonna get my
Some cool
rosin.
space beans. And just in case you were wondering, Scott Kelly said the lettuce tasted awesome. Speaking of awesome innovations back here on Earth, Intel
I thought
creates
they
the
can't
breakthrough
really
technologies
taste.
that make amazing experiences possible. Having Intel inside makes for better experiences outside. Intel drives innovation.
Hi guys, welcome back to the MyGo YouTube channel. I am
Okay, this is
honored to
really
have
long, but
Dr. Gary
just
Stuti
give me a
here
second.
today. He is a research scientist and has worked for many years with NASA on developing space programs for growing in controlled environments in space, and has done very deep research in the area. And I think you're going to have a lot of fascinating learnings from Gary on how to apply his discoveries to our own growing environments and how to push our limits. So I'd like to welcome you, Gary, to the channel.
Oh, thank you very much for the invitation and to talk to you and your listeners.
Just to start us off, Gary, would you be able to give us a little introduction into yourself, your background, and how you got up to this point?
Oh, yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, so I'm a horticulturist, a plant physiologist, and a space biologist, and I consider myself those things in that particular order. And I am currently the president of a consulting company we call Synergy, which gets its name from a series of 3 spaceflight experiments that I performed over the past decade. And my background had come from a pretty traditional, agriculture training here in the United States at land grant institutions. I worked, growing tomatoes and beans and peppers, and worked my way through up to olive trees, and had a position at the University of Maryland on the faculty teaching horticulture and tree fruit physiology. Then an opportunity came to go to do a short work on a project at Kennedy Space Center that was called CELS, Controlled Ecological Life Support Systems. And it was part of what they called the breadboard project. And being a horticulturalist, I had this misconception that had something to do with food. But being a bunch of engineers, I discovered that breadboards are, pieces of electronics where you'd put all of the pieces together to see how they work before you built the final prototype. And so that was an exciting period that 18 months have turned into a career.
Sorry, you guys. Are they boring? Are they boring? What do you guys think? Crunchy water? No. Okella, I ordered something. It doesn't get here right now. I ordered express. It's getting here as quickly as it can get. It's crunchy. It's crunchy. And it will get here at just before 7 my time, Pacific. So that's 7 in less than an hour. It'll be here. Eddie Moretti. Thank you. Eddie. Let's do green. Oh. Green for the edibles producers. There we go. Oh. I do have something for Bonbon. She's looking at me like, are you going to give me... Oh, it's 6 o'clock. Actually, I kind of need to feed her too. No, better than last. Okay, you like them. Boop. Okay, Eddie. Trying to get that goal up. Let me get rid of the Bonbon cam because she wants dinner. And let me keep playing these guys, and I'm going to go feed her.
And the objective of that project was to get the feasibility of keeping one person alive for 1 year using biological life support systems. In other words, plants. And the rationale for that is if you are going on a mission to the moon or Mars or in a capsule, we can sit around and you and I can chat for a while, then we'll get a little drowsy and take a little nap and not wake up. Because we have contaminated that atmosphere with our carbon dioxide. We have put it out and contaminated and we will die. Now, if we clean that up, which we can do chemically, scrub that CO2, we can go a little longer until we get a little sleepy and we get a little groggy and we don't wake up and we die because we don't have enough oxygen in the air. Now you can fix that chemically and physically, get a little oxygen, and we can go a little longer until we get very, very cranky and lay down and die from dehydration. And if we go even a little, we get the water, and you can make that from the atmosphere. We go a little loger until we starve. So the 4 means of life
Killer
support are
mustache.
regenerating oxygen, removing contaminants,
What?
purifying the
Oh,
water,
this guy?
and providing food. And those
Yeah,
are all
it's a
done
pretty good mustache,
by
actually.
plants. So through the processes of transpiration and photosynthesis, with the inputs of our waste carbon dioxide in the presence of light, can be turned into rejuvenating that atmosphere into oxygen. Through controlling the environment, we can take our wastewater through transpiration, purify it into potable, pure water. And if we do the dials correctly, we can produce food. So biological life support. So I've worked on that for like 25 years. Those programs was very productive, had about 600 scientific papers come out of it. I didn't write them all, but it was a very collaborative project.
Cool.
Then I've had the opportunity to develop other systems, work in, 3 space flight experiments. We'll talk about those hopefully a little bit later. Traveled to Ireland as part of a Marie Curie fellowship to stand up a laboratory to look at using controlled environments for high-value crops and engaging
I need to give
in
Eddie a
longer
heart.
duration missions. And when I returned back here to the United States, founded
Go down?
Synergy, because in my travels, I saw that I had had the real privilege of, working at some of the cutting edge technologies with some brilliant people.
Okay, I gotta feed my
find
dog.
a way to keep, 4 people alive on the way to the moon or Mars. And, in the coming, 3 decades or less, we're going to have another 3 to 4 billion people on the planet. And with less resources, other issues that we may or may not get into. But ultimately, I felt it was my obligation to spend, what this trajectory of a career, to take that knowledge to keep 4 people alive to feed the 4 billion that are coming to the planet. So thank you for the chance to talk about that a little bit.
And what exactly are you doing in Synergy today?
With Synergy, we do really three things. And one is a lot of education. We do outreach. I like to talk as many people as possible. Have newsletters on activities that are engaged in those applications in controlled environment agriculture. The second is I work directly with the industry or government or private institutes to develop strategies to achieve, sustainable food production systems for primarily urban agriculture and controlled environments and urban farming. How can we take the food to the people? How can we sustain that? What are the challenges? And, to the best of my ability, prevent people from making, expensive mistakes of either commission or omission. You need this or you don't need that.
What is going on?
And finally is, we maintain a small laboratory right at the gates of Kennedy Space Center, taking some research from the Synergy experiments, which we're engaged with plant microbe interactions using space to increase the bioactivity or the usefulness of some beneficial microorganisms. How can we bring that back to Earth and develop those specifically as products for the market in controlled environment agriculture going forward? In other words, not trying to recreate Mother Earth, but in these environments that we do create, that we have biological solutions to some of the biological stresses.
And with regard to, I don't know how we're going to condense 25 years of work now that I think we've made it into a relatively short conversation.
Yeah.
But in terms of the challenges you came across, and you talked about that cycle and that process of basically recycling nutrients and energy in terms of regenerating food for the astronauts, oxygen. What are the primary challenges you face in terms of sustaining life for that length of time, in terms of toxin buildups, in terms of where you get your energy from, all of those kind of challenges? What are the primary ones that you face?
Well, there are a lot. There are a lot, because as you begin to move off the surface of this planet and in the absence of gravity, physics is the same, but some of the drivers different. Because with gravity, everything is moving. In microgravity, you lose a primary thing that we take for granted called convective currents or convective mixing, which means water, gas, solids all have the same, they don't separate. So dealing things like phase separation. You have, limited power. You have limited resources of everything.
Right.
So the
Whatever you
way
can get on the ship.
So the very first challenge is changing a mindset. And I think that's important as we move back here on Earth, is to change much of that mindset. That
Fruit
as we
trees,
were
berry
going forward,
bushes.
we had very limited power and resources. We had limited volume and space, and we had limited ability to resupply. And, fourth, limited manpower. So what that means is, as you're going forward, you never have a waste material. What you have is a resource that can be reused to the extent possible. So that becomes the real challenge. How do you maximize your engineering component, which in my view is the plant, that plant resource that is moving over time, give it that optimum environment to do the biological functions I want it to do.
Oh, Kella, you've got a lot to say tonight.
And so, that has,
I should
created, a lot of challenges. So, but
Pause.
before
you guys, this is interesting, but it's a lot. We're going to watch a little more of this, and then we're going to watch something else. This is some First Class Funk. I'll show you some more rosin. This is what I'll do a super boop if we reach that goal, but I'm not doing a super boop otherwise, because this is all I got left. So this is kind of good. Someone said boop. I got a couple boops in me. Got a couple boops in me. I'll say less, Mike. I will say less. Everybody, let's boop. It's time to boop, people. It's time to boop. Ooh, that mic. Oop, no, don't turn on. Sometimes I accidentally hit the button on my little tool before I want to. This is interesting. So yeah, that's whatever they can bring on these spaceships is what they have to, okay, ready, set, boop. Okay. Is what they have to grow, and they're limited on energy. Like, all of it freaks me out. Cause like, what if something goes wrong and they like drain the energy to grow some freaking lettuce, and now the spaceship doesn't have enough power to get them home. And then they have to send in George Clooney. I'm casting it already. I'm ready to cast. Who's going to get the budget? They were sent to space. Oh, it's already been done. It's been done so many times. So many space movies. Maybe that's what we should look at next. Like, is a roundup of the top space movies.
we go deep, do a deep dive into those. I like to say after that, you know, our first big test of the 600 papers, you know, a few things came out by providing optimum amounts of nutrient solutions, increasing the amount of light, elevating the CO2, not trying to recreate Mother Earth down here, but, you know, where do these plants actually evolve from? A little bit higher CO2. You know, we were breaking world record field yields of things like potatoes in 2/3 of the time. We were 4 times at that point world record field yields. Lettuce for indoor production of lettuce had to be rewritten. Not because we changed any biology, but because we were pushing the limits of what that plant could perform. And it was because we had those limits of space, volume. We had to push them that hard. And I think much of that's enabled the growth of the indoor, you know, ag and controlled environment community. We had to look at safety, something that is often ignored down here, which is why we began looking in the early 90s at light emitting diodes. Because, you know, a fluorescent bulb, high pressure sodium bulb, fluorescent lamps have some inherent problems for going to space. One, they break. And as we mentioned before, things float in space, and nobody likes having like pieces of broken glass float in their ear or up their nose. It is.
I'm going to boop it one more time.
It's a hazard. Second thing is they burn out. So that means you're using up some precious volume for light bulbs that are mostly empty vacuum. And the third problem with it, things like fluorescent lamps are, full of, mercury. So you don't want this gas that's going to stay up there that you'd be constantly breathing. So the movement was not so much a better light. You can grow plants very, very well under all of those light sources, but for a safe energy source, one that you could touch. It wasn't hot, it didn't break, it lasted a long time, and it provided the bandwidth and the spectrum that would allow us to push plant growth. And as we began to do that, we began to uncover a lot of neat physiology that, you're very much, aware of narrow, band wavelengths and turning fruiting on, and you can make them small and you can make it short, which opens all kinds of opportunities. But those challenges, come down to the absence of gravity. How are you going to water the plants? How do you tell it which way is up? How do you recover the water when everything floats out of that atmosphere?
How do they do it?
How do you ensure that it's safe?
Well, tell us.
How do you harvest it? How
Don't
do
you
prevent
know?
debris from coming into it? How do you monitor it when you've got a very specialized crew, trying to stay alive up there? You don't have farmers. But the closest I am, to an experiment on a space station is, just under 400, just about 400 kilometers. At the best of times, when it's straight overhead.
Are you okay? What is going on? Liberty Genetics, I agree that 600 papers is a legend. He is a legend. Patricia, I need to go sit in my car with air conditioning. I feel like heat exhaustion. Whoa. Okay, sounds good. Stay cool. Drink some water. If you're already gone. I don't know if you're gone, but make sure you drink some. Oh, take some water with you. Okay, that's what you're talking about. What are these cows going into labor, though? That's what I didn't understand. I was like, oh, I'm trying to bring the nonsense. To confuse me? So I get confused? Do I look like I need to be confused? What cows are in labor? You're just making it up? Does it relate to something? Okay, I'm going to keep watching about this space, how they grow in space, because I don't understand. Because from what I can tell, the water is a bubble. No gravity. So what do? Do they have to the roots, how are the roots growing? They have to contain the roots. What do they do? Is it what do they do?
And
is he going to tell us?
How do you meet those challenges?
Is he going to tell us? Did he already tell us and I wasn't paying attention?
How do you anticipate what the stresses are and then identifying and pushing the limits of those plants?
Someone help me.
In terms of that challenge of separating, well, first of all, the plants knowing which way is up and which direction to grow, but then separating basically the harvestable or the upper part of the plant that would normally be above physical ground and the lower part of the plant. How did you separate that, and what medium did you use to transport
He's
the water
asking
and
the
nutrients to
questions.
So with both of those, the plants are very resilient things, and they're very, very adaptive, and they usually have a backup plan for most everything because they can't move. Our backup plan is either to run or to fight.
They can't move. They can't move.
Very, its options are to fight back, and that tends to be through chemistry and the altering of constituents of phytochemicals. And the other
Trichomes.
is to
That's what he's talking
find
about there.
another way around the problem.
Right.
And that is exactly what we take advantage of with terms of which way is up. The primary means of what we call gravitropism. Tropisms are movement. Gravity is a gravity. So a chute has sensors in it, and it's all very cool at the cellular level. But basically, there's these sensors that say gravity pulls them down. Say, "Oops, we're supposed to go the other way," and they go up. Now in the roots, they have a different set of sensors. When those little pieces come in, they say, "Oops, that's our way to go."
Right.
So they go
down.
Roots go down.
Gravity,
so
you guys, gravity.
Really cool photos of
plants in
things
space.
spinning or up in space.
Boop for
roots
Snoop.
Going up and shoots going down.
Okay,
into
Russ,
the media,
I'm putting it in.
They can't survive that way. But the
I just took a boop, so I'm not taking one quite yet, but it's going toward the goal.
The movement and light.
Oh, the goal ends in 4 minutes, but I'll still take one. You guys keep sending them.
We've all experienced that. If you have a house plan and it bends towards the light and say it's looking for the sun and it's seeking it. So that's what we do. So by placing lights, the plant, the shoot can go out anyway. Then it turns with the phototropic, the roots can turn down. We do have several other things that try and position them in the right way so they can know which way they're going initially.
Okay, wait, I missed that. I got distracted. I got to go back.
Another way around the problem. And that is exactly what we take.
Sorry, I have to go back because I got distracted.
In terms of which way is up. The primary means of what we call gravitropism.
Gravitropism.
Gravity is a gravity.
Okay, yeah.
So a chute has sensors in it, and it's all very cool at the cellular level. But basically, there's these sensors that say.
There's 3 more minutes, people.
We're supposed to go the other way.
You can still put a boop on it.
Now in the roots, they have a different set of sensors. When those little pieces come in, they say, "Oops, that's our way to go." So they go, roots go down, shoots go up. So we got all these really cool photos of things spinning or up in space and roots going up and shoots going down into the media, and they can't survive that way. But the other thing they have is something they call phototropism, or tropism, the movement and light movements towards light.
Right.
Which and we've all experienced.
Oh, so they
that.
use
If
the
you
light.
have a house plan and it bends towards the light, and
so they keep the
say
roots
it's
in the
looking
dark.
For the sun, and it's seeking it. So that's what we do. So by placing lights, the plant, the shoot can go out anyway. Then it turns with the phototropic, the roots can turn down. We do have several other things that try and position them in the right way so they can know which way they're going initially.
Right.
But that's what we use. We use light to tell them which way is up, because there really is no up.
Right.
So in an engineering
and
term,
then they keep
I'm not trying to get
the
them
root.
to go
They
up.
keep it all
I'm
contained.
trying to get them to go to the energy source I want them to use, so they will convert my waste material to oxygen, water, and food.
But what are you growing it in?
And the medium that the roots sit in then, and how they are fed with, and how are they fed with?
Good job, man. Good job,
water.
Shane. Good job, Shane.
Lots of things have been tried over the decades. But
what works?
Where most of the experiments have used now is a material which is called arsenite. It's a calcined clay material.
Whoa!
And it is flat.
Huh.
And here in the States, it's often used on baseball fields and diamonds, so it runs around. And for drainage, it has a different product in Europe. But it's a flat calcined clay. It has very low cation exchangeability, or its ability to exchange nutrients, but it packs very, very tight. And that becomes very important because in space, things float.
Ocala likes
so if
it.
I'm watering things here on the Earth, it doesn't matter if I have a pocket here or there.
Why do people always say that? It's so funny. What gives you politician from me? I'm sitting here getting really high. I mean, whatever that, I don't feel like I seem that high. We're listening to something pretty complex right now. We're listening to how they grow plants in space. And we learned about them finally beat around the bush long enough. We finally got to the fucking medium. Excuse my language. Let me put you on the board, Ocala. What color should we use? Let's use this. All right, let me move my mic. Holy shit. Is it gonna be a super wave? All right. You're on the board. You can't see it. I'll show you, actually. I should have. Look at that board. Let me get rid of that. Look at that board. We're almost full. That's a lot of people. Okay, let's go back to our watch scene. Cool. We need you making our collective decisions. All right, we finished that. We got 8 out of 20. That's pretty good. I'll take like a medium boop in a little bit. What's going on? I don't know. She's all excited. Oh wow, Bishoppa sent a super chat too. Let me give you a heart. Let's put it in green. I want you to see. It's always, I like to look at it after. It makes me so happy to look at the boards after and see everybody's name on the board. And I don't know. It's really sweet. Should I post it on Instagram? Do you guys want me to see? Do you want me to see your names posted on Instagram with your super chat? Super boops. We got to get boop on a t-shirt. I'm going to get the t-shirts on my website eventually. Basically, I want to go up to Cannabis. I'm going to Cannabis at the end of the month. And after that, I want to see how many t-shirts I sell there. And then I'll put them up because I'm not very good at sending mail. And I already have a ton of mail that I need to send. I actually don't like doing that. I should probably have someone do my t-shirts for me. But, okay, let me go back to watch scene. Let's keep learning. So they put it in some compact clay. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that super interesting? They put it into clay. I'm going to take a boop. We're going to keep on learning. I'm going to take a sip of water. I gave you your treat. You can't have any more treats. That's it. And let's keep learning about how they grow this plant.
But let's say if I'm in planes and I've got water between these two particles and they float away,
yeah, I
now have a void that cannot be passed.
Right.
So this will dry out, and if the root's in the middle, I can have a droplet of water up here, and it will die due to lack of water down here because there's no way for it to move down. So they pack very, very tightly. So that works really well. We put in typically slow release fertilizers. We've tried different things that are timed release, and we water with what would be a equivalent here on Earth as a sub-irrigation system. There's some tubes underneath that instead of being positive pressure, be slightly negative. So the plant dries out the particle, pulls it off, comes off of the tube, and then it gets its dose of water. So it becomes very much a case of using surface tension, transpiration, the biology to do it. And then we got to put a barrier to keep those tight and packed. It's an engineering and a biological challenge.
I can sort of understand that from having a layer, basically a layer of substrate with nutrients and water flowing in between. I can understand that for leafy greens, but for root vegetables, you were able to grow root vegetables
Yeah,
in a
how do you
similar
do that?
structure, were you?
There have been various approaches on that. Radishes have been grown in that substrate, which isn't actually a root. It's a bit of a hypocotyl, but we tend to grow it down in the root. But that'll come up, and they'll come fine just above that.
Right.
Now, efforts have been looked at in
It like sits on
what
top.
they call aeroponics, or have been just a very mist, so it just covers the roots. Now, there's a challenges with that, not so much actually of spraying, have a little puff of nutrients, and they get on the roots, and now you're bathing them, and they get all of their nutrients, and there's lots of air movement around it. It's all very, very nice. And here on Earth, these aeroponic systems, they'll drip off and dry, and then you hit it again. In conditions of space, they don't drip off. So if you keep spraying, you get this bubble that keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and you kill your plant. So the challenge has been to get the water off of those roots to develop them. And so there's active work going on the, I don't know if it's still on the station now, but had been just a few months ago looking at aeroponic systems for feeding and coming back, feeding and coming back. Because ultimately, that's what you're going to need in space. One last, but that doesn't apply if you're going to be on the moon or Mars.
Let me try something. Should that be the boop noise? Let me tell you, I'm going to give you some noises, okay? For the boop noise, okay? Ready? That's one option. That's option one. That's option two. That's option three. That feels a little too much to me. This feels like a lot. This is a whole like I think it's the chimes. Okay, all right, that's enough. It's enough of you. I think it's that one. That's the boop noise, okay? Oops, I need to clean this. Actually, maybe I will double boop.
Because you have some gravity. You've got to make a lot of adjustments, but you can do things like where water will flow at one end and it flows to the other end because there's gravity. Just a different form. We don't really understand all the nuances of that. So we've got two separate
I love you.
Solutions.
I love you. You're my fave.
Solutions to different parts of the journey, Albert.
And what range of plants were you testing, growing, and what were you testing, and why did you select those plants in particular?
Well, let me break that down into two bits. First, there's been an awful lot of plants looked at. In our biomass production chamber and our earth test for feasibility of colonization, we were looking at caloric plants. We did wheat, we did soybean, we grew lettuce, we grew rice, we grew tomatoes, we grew potatoes, we grew a lot of potatoes. So those were primarily caloric crops, and then lettuce test out systems, and tomatoes, made most of those calories edible. Then we began screening many other what we call salad crops: beans, peas, carrots, radishes. We did things like peanuts. We grew sweet potatoes, lots of different kinds of tomatoes, peppers, onions, chives,
Sometimes
basil.
It makes me cough.
Whole list of crops. Now, as the programs have developed and began looking on space and those limitations we discussed earlier, space, volume, and time on the space station, okay, what are you going to be tested to have some meaningful input? And that has come to what we'd call minimally processed foods, or these are leafy greens, radishes, and those leafy greens, red lettuces, green lettuces, mizuna, bok choy, sort of a culturally and culinarily diverse group of greens. Things like radishes.
My food is here.
Have, very recently had grown peppers, tomatoes. My first experiment was growing wheat. So it was calories, but now we've got a lot of energy, and you can't eat it all. You got to process it. Most of your energy. So that's a different question. If you don't ask it, I'll ask it for you. But that's could have been the movement, things that you could eat directly, but you don't have processing and cooking and storage facilities on the International Space Station. So a lot of things have been grown.
And in that selection process, excuse me.
Yeah.
What came out the other end in terms of what were they narrowed down to as being the most productive or efficient or whatever crops to select?
This goes back to volume, power and productivity. And, we tend to think here on the ground of how many tomatoes I get for a plant, or, how many, how many pounds I get for a light, or, tons per hectare.
Thank you, Madam Dram.
Our metrics were, calories per watt, grams per watt, or kilograms per man-hour equivalent, because that came up to our limitations for power, manpower, and volume. So the selection criteria that one would go, that a plant has got to go through before it, makes its ride to space, is it goes through ground screening on whether it will fit. So dwarfism, small plants, win, because you can't grow a vine tomato. You need it, very, very, very dwarf. The second is, can it grow within the constraints of that environment? It's not, although I very much look at, optimizing the environment for plants, that is to find the sweet spot, what I can predict when they're in the relevant environment that makes you and I, or the astronauts, living and growing, and so that they thrive. It may not be their optimum, but I know what their performance is and how they're going to do within this range. So it's size. Will it grow in that particular environment? The third is productivity. How much of my energy coming in is something edible? And then something we call the harvest index. What percentage of the plant
Oh no, I forgot to get a drink.
How much of this time, energy, and treasure that I put into this am I going to have to throw
Drink
away?
water.
And with that plant waste and I guess the human waste, is that being combined together and sort of biodigested and recycled in some shape or form?
That has been looked at on station, no, because they just don't have the resources now. I mean, there are experiments going on, and the larger scale tests, absolutely.
No night soil. I mean, like, I get it. It's good because you'd want to. All right, you guys, this is obviously way too long. We're not going to watch this whole thing. And I have some food, and it's time for, what did I call it? Club Sesh Eats. Oh, let me switch those to main and get rid of the bonbon. Okay. What did I get? I thought I got a drink, but I think I forgot. It didn't like go through. Okay, they put it all in the same one, but I got 3 different things. I got 2. So I ordered from. Wait, it's on the. No, you cannot have any bonbon. No. No. Okay. No. I ordered from Birria El Abuelo, and I got 2 tacos dorados and 1 quesi taco and 1 consomme and 1 flan. And I thought a Jamaica, but I don't think I pressed commit. Okay. No, there's no bonbon tax on this. That's not happening. She's on a diet. Oh, wait, I got the wrong things. Oh, I'm such an idiot. I'm so stoned. Okay, yeah, I didn't click the right things, so this isn't going to be very good. Fuck, whatever. This is consomme. This is fucking soup. Why'd I do that? Anyway, I'm going to eat these, and they're going to be crunchy, and I'm going to put some salsa on it, and they're probably like, this bitch is an idiot. But that's okay. It's okay. We're going to make them fucking spicy. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to put a lot of lime on them. Because I forgot. Yeah, I didn't get 2 things that I thought I clicked, and I didn't. Fuck, that's so stupid of me. And it's so far, I can't order it again. I'm so stupid. They should have called me. I've been like, are you sure you want this? It's okay. We'll keep it simple. So this is some lime. I know it looks yellow, but it is lime. And I put some of this. I'll put some more so you can see. Okay. Oops, dripping on my leg. Dripping. Okay, let's eat this. Ooh, juicy. Ooh, spicy. Oh my God. Doesn't matter. Dumb. That is good. That is really good. Doesn't matter. Still so good. Okay. So this is the taco. Really tasty. You should have it, dip it, whatever. Doesn't matter. Oh my God. The other one doesn't look crispy at all, and I'm very much not interested in it. I just want to try this green. Excuse me. This green salsa. This is so spicy. I love it. I think I'm going to do both though, because I like that red one so much. We're going to pour this on. Yep. Get all in there. I don't care. I want them both. Actually, I should take just a bite of that. I want to try it. It's all about that red sauce. I'm sorry. Love it. Oh, and I need some lime. This is messy. When you're picking limes, you want to go for the yellow ones. You actually don't want them green. I know. You want a bunch of this taco. Mm-hmm. What a mess. So good. It doesn't matter. You can mess up. It's okay. Oh, Fraggle Rock, thank you. I didn't see. I was so into eating these. I got tacos dorados. Wait, what did I get? Yeah. Tacos dorados and a quesy taco, but the quesy taco doesn't look quite as good. But I should have got birria, but it's okay. Oh my God. My mouth is on fire. No, you can't have any. She doesn't listen to me. She just sits there and stares. I'm going to put this plate under my mouth. That was tasty. The first one was like insane. Now I'm all sweaty. I'm really sweaty. I need some water and I need a minute. So I'm going to play this guy a little bit more. I'm going to do this. I don't know. This looks good. Yes. So good. Oh my God, I didn't even know I needed this right now. It's healing me. I love cilantro. If you don't like cilantro, I feel bad for you. I made no mistakes. Okay, I need to get some water. I'm going to play him for a little bit, okay? We're going back to the guy. But I did get dessert, and I'm going to pull a Nanaimo bar. Consomme. Oh, it's so good. It's so salty. It's so nourishing. That was delicious. Petra, buona notte. Sleep well. I'm going to pull... oh, sorry. That really just was awesome. I'm going to pull a Nanaimo bar out of the freezer. I've been snacking on those. And I'm going to get some more water. And I'm going to play this guy again. I know it's late there, but it's not late here. It's only 6:53 where I am. It's only 9:53 where you are. Come on. Okay. Let's play.
We ran bioreactors, which would take the waste material, we would digest that, extract the nutrients, and recover them back to the plant. And then we treat them with microbes, and they would come out. So that would recover many of the nutrients that could go back in, part of that closed system. And some really neat work, I think that, we're doing all these analysis. We can get about half the nutrients back out of the plant, very easily. And then it takes more work to get the rest of it. Then you go to another processing, and then things that are inedible, lignin in the fibers and the cellulose. You can use that to make materials. But, going back many years now on the biomass production chamber, we grew potatoes for well over a year, 418 days. And in that experiment, we were recycling all the inedible biomass, the leaves, the stems, and the roots. We were returning 50% of the nutrients back and recycling it. We were recycling the water. We had set up
Watch
a shower.
the bugs, Petra.
We had individuals coming in and using the water to shower with. We were processing the gray water and returning that back to the plants.
Okay.
So there has been work with solid waste.
Okay. It's kind of interesting, right? Okay, we're going back to the main. Because my hair is so frizzy. I washed it, that's why. So it gets all frizzy, and then tomorrow it'll be nice. I don't like to sit with the bugs. Okay, so I got flan as well, because I always like dessert, and if I see dessert on a menu, I'm always like, ooh, yum. Okay, so let's see what their flan is about. Okay, it comes in a nice little package. It looks very caramelly. Kind of like a spaceship. Very on theme. Like a UFO. I'm not going to flip it upside down. What if it flips out? Ooh. Should take a boop while I do that. Anyway, I'm going to eat it. Take a flan. Take a spoon. It's flan. We're going to try it. Let me show you my spoon. I'm going to cheat out to camera. Ooh, that's a nice... Oh, shit. Oops. We're not going to eat that because that went on my rug. That's what I get for playing with my food. Okay, let's try that again. Definitely cutting that into a reel. Okay, so we'll scoop it again. Do not scoop it. Like I can kind of face it towards you, but not flip it onto the fucking floor. Okay, yum. Fun. Ah, sometimes my jaw gets clicked. I want to show you a close-up of it. Let me get close. Can you see the texture of it? Yum. Very, I don't know how to describe it. Like the syrup is very loose. The caramel syrup on the bottom. And the custard, I don't know. I don't think this is what they do the best, maybe. Or maybe this is like how it's supposed to be. I need to try more flan. I don't think so though, because it kind of has a bit of a skin on the top, which I don't mind, but I don't know. It's growing on me. It's growing on me. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad about it. I'm not. I wish it was a little. Is it supposed to be loosey goosey on the bottom? Like, is it supposed to? You see how it can sploosh and squash there? I seen an article about AI helping a guy fix clicking in his jaw. Oh my gosh, I asked ChatGPT. Okay. I'll say this, like the middle of the flan, because it got less cooked, right? So it's a little creamier. Better. Yeah. Consomme was nice and salty. Cilantro. Tacos dorados were crispy as fuck. I'd say the flan, I wish it was like a little, the typical flan. Okay, so a little loosey-goosey. That's nice. I like it because I like the contrast. Maybe if it was like just made, I wonder when they made that. I'm going to eat some old Nanaimo bars that was stored in my freezer. Speaking of when were these made, I put these in my freezer and these are toast. Let's keep watching this guy. It's just caramel sauce. Yeah, it's just sugar. I should make flan. That would be fun. Places cook it more through some to less. You like yours like a soak sponge. I want to try different flan everywhere. Oh, wait. Let me switch back to the watch scene. Oh, shoot. The Instagram I kept on the watch scene. Oh, well. That's okay.
You know, health and safety issues to getting that forward, but certainly has been looked at, and, you know, will have to be an essential part of
Nanaimo bar.
You know, it's going to be an essential part of our long duration space missions as we go forward.
And in pushing those limits,
recipe in my book,
pushing the plant to perform at its absolute maximum, you mentioned parameters such as light intensity, spectrum, the genetics perhaps, or the selection of the plant, the type of plant to suit the environment. What have you learned? And so you mentioned CO2 as well. What have you learned from those experiments, which you're putting into effect now in terms of growing crops and control environments on Earth? What sort of ranges of parameters did we previously think were optimum, and are we now rethinking those?
So there would be, we take those as like the big parameters that we need. We'll look at the raw material for photosynthesis. Our light as energy, and CO2 is the raw material. And most of the work had looked at how we're growing things in the greenhouse, at ambient CO2, which when we started this was about 280 part per million. We're up to about 380 ambient. And
I love lemon bars.
For a long time that as you increase the CO2, that plants will grow a little stronger. It's the raw material. So we began doing tests on how high can you go. And that photosynthesis would go up to, depending upon the plant and variations, but somewhere around 1,000 to 1,500 part per million, roughly 3 times ambient, you would plateau. And you had a long range you could work at a plateau, and then it would become super optimal and began to go down.
What did I do with
and
my
we
water?
Looked at things as high as
Be right back.
16,000 part per million. Plants didn't like that so much, but they were still growing better than they were at ambient here Earth CO2.
Hey,
That
can I
has,
ask-
go ahead.
Sorry, Gary, can I ask with regards to
Yeah.
CO2, so if you're to take, say, a control at normal atmospheric CO2 levels, and then to run an experiment with elevated, so let's take 1,000 parts per million
Yep.
for argument's sake, and all other things
Yum,
are
Petra.
equal. So, the available nutrients, water, and your light energy level is the same. Is it the plant is growing faster, or is it just growing more efficiently, or is there some other chemical process going on that enables you to get more photosynthesis to occur with the same energy levels?
It is growing faster. It becomes more and more productive. And depending upon its environment, it will produce more fruit. Because it's what in our physiology world, since most of the plants out here are resource limited, you can keep adding the primary rubisco and all of that chemistry is nowhere close saturated. That they evolved in a time well before people's, and the atmosphere was much higher. So you can, in CO2, several, very much higher. So, 2,000 parts per million, prior to the dinosaur age is apparently what we had. I'm not a geologist. But they will go up, so you're much more efficient in the conversion as we do that energy. But basically, you're saturating the system. We just haven't been running enough fuel through the carburetor. I know we're just pushing those limits with CO2. And as you do that, it needs more light because there's only the energy that can run that. So there's this interaction between light intensity and the carbon dioxide concentration. So at low light, it'll peak at one level, it'll go higher at a higher level, and it'll continue to go higher till you exceed till you meet the capacity of the plant. And then that's where we try and get that sweet spot of CO2, where we saturated the rubisco, that's the kind of chemical in there, and the amount of light to keep that running full bore.
And similarly, with regards to light intensity, what did you find is there a reducing rate of return for increasing your light levels in terms of the photosynthesis rate, and whereabouts does that occur?
Well, that is very, very much plant dependent. Some of the leafy greens it turns out that it's not so much the light intensity, but how much just the internal capacity can handle. So we started.
Okay. This is all probably like effects on plant chemistry, UVB diodes. Okay, that's enough of this NASA. That's enough, you guys. We've had enough. We're going back to the main sesh. And 67% of you said you would eat moon plants. And 33% of you said no. Okay, good to know. I'm glad we know that. Okay, cool. I don't know. I think that's it. That might be all I've got. Let me see if I got some more links about that aren't that long. Obviously, that was very long. Let me see what I got. Thank you. Said no. No. You said no, Kyle. You wouldn't do it. Tell me your reasons. I'd like to know. Whoa. Okay, let's watch this. It's a little loud. What is that? Bonbon? Huh. Okay, let's watch this. This scared me a little because it was so loud. 1 second. Oh, God damn it. I gave her a bone. And sometimes when I give her a treat and she's like, I don't know what to do with this. I'm too excited. Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. She cries and it just... Sergeant Donovan, thank you. You did send a super chat. Thank you. That's so sweet. I should take a boop. I should take a boop. It's okay, Bonbon. You can put it somewhere. You're okay. She's so silly. I'm going to put a heart next to your name. Thank you, Sergeant Donovan. Thank you so much. Oops, for the super chat. Oh, wait, we're not listening to this guy anymore. That's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to paste. Oh, wait. Fuck. I forgot I got us out of there. Watch scene. Let's go back.
Plants are life.
They provide us with oxygen, food, and medicine.
Oh, wait.
And have shaped our
Let me get this boop ready. We'll keep watching.
cultures and societies. And soon, they'll be going with us on a journey to deep space. Even before we had space stations in Earth's orbit, we sent seeds into space on rockets to test their ability to grow and survive in this extreme environment. Plants have also been sprouting on space stations since last century. Now that
That's
we're planning
cool.
missions for people to go back to the moon and then go to Mars, we need to
Show
plan
me on
that way.
Discord, Petra. I want to
We've
see.
been feeding astronauts on space stations for decades. Growing plants in space means that astronauts can experience different flavors, textures, and meals.
Okay, and when do I make the boop sound? That's the thing. Is it before I boop? Or is it right before I take this boop? Shall we take this boop together? Let's take this boop together. Going back to the main. Let's take it together. I'm going to hit it. Okay, wait. We set it off. We're going to take a sip of water. Sometimes a sip of consomme is really good. Has anyone ever watched the Civil War on drugs? What? Ohio Gamers Khalifa, yeah, I am. Let's just do it all the time. I love it. 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 Oops. Okay, so let's go back to the watch.
Leafy greens like lettuce and kale are regularly grown on the space station.
This is horseradish.
which is considered a pretty strong flavour on Earth. But because on the space station, astronauts can't smell or taste as much as on Earth, horseradish is pretty popular among astronauts.
I like
We're
horseradish.
still learning about the best ways to grow plants.
Although I remember I went to my first elementary school dance and they served horseradish, and the little boy I had a crush on really liked horseradish. So I was like, I'm putting some on my plate too, because if he eats it, I'm eating it. But I didn't know how to eat it, right? I didn't grow up eating horseradish. And so I sat down and I was like, yum. I thought it was going to be like mashed potatoes or something. Anyway.
Plants in space. Rather than growing in soil like this, plants in space are grown in special media. The special design of media for plants in space helps to distribute water, nutrients, and air in a healthy balance.
Wow, look at that.
Fertilizers like nitrogen, found in Earth's soil, are added to the water to grow plants in space.
Yeah. Nitrogen.
At the moment, the only pollinators in space are astronauts.
Right.
Scientists,
they can have like bees.
Sometimes called astrobotanists, are researching how to grow plants in space.
Hi, I'm Jenny.
Like vanilla bean.
I'm a professor at the University
I wonder if they could grow vanilla
and
bean.
I study how plants can help humans survive on a surface of the moon or Mars. Now this is duckweed.
Sorry, my shorts riding
on
up.
the surface of fresh water around Australia.
Hi, Lady B Miniatures and Arts, Sassy Simsy.
This plant
Welcome.
may look small, but it is mighty. Duckweed, or Nemasia, consists
Wow.
of 26 different species.
What do they do with that?
The smallest flowering plants on the planet. Duckweed doubles in quantity every 2 days. This means it can be harvested regularly. We don't have to wait for it to flower and set seed like other plants.
We're talking about plants in space. We talked about cannabis in space. Now we're talking about plants generally growing in space, how they grow plants in space. I wonder if they grow cannabis on the space station. Like, wouldn't that be so nice for them to be up there? And it's like, at least they can get baked. Vote for that. That's my campaign. Okala, if you're still here, that's my campaign. I want to make sure every astronaut has cannabis in space.
You can eat the whole plant.
I'm here for the important issues, obviously.
It's full of protein and vitamins. We describe the taste as crunchy lettuce. Being able to eat the whole plant is important.
They look super happy, especially that bald guy. Oh my god. Wait. Boop, 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 boop. Look at his face. Okay, first of all, wait. Okay, so her. Sorry that I snort. Sometimes I snort. Look at his face. Look, can I zoom in on that? I want you guys to really see his face. I'm worried if I zoom in, I won't be able to zoom out. Let me do this. See that face? Oh my god, that's funny, man. Anyway, there they are. He doesn't look too happy about it. His friend is like smiling for the camera. He's like, maybe whoever is giving him this food, he's got a crush. Do you think they're stoned? I think they're like, what are you making me eat? This is going to be disgusting.
To eat the whole plant is important.
Okay, look, he puts it in his mouth. He's looking at it still, inspecting it. Like, what the hell is this? And then he still hasn't put it in his mouth, right? He's still like, what is this? This guy's like, just get it down. Just get it down. I'm an astronaut. I can eat it. Whatever. Don't care. I've eaten anything. Don't care.
This means there is less waste from the cycle of...
Wait. I missed it. Fuck. We gotta go back. Wait. Yeah, there. I don't know how to go back like one. No, I want to go back one frame at a time. I just want to go back. I wish I could edit. I would edit this. This is funny. Okay, look at, he's looking at us. He's looking at camera. Like, what am I about to eat? What did you just give me? I'm looking at this guy, right? This guy's looking at him like for his reaction because he's like, no way. I'm not trying this. Oh my God. And then he gets into his mouth and he looks at his friend and he's like, oh no. This face, this is called fungia face. Fungia face in Italian. My grandma would say that to me. She'd be like, why do you have such a fungia face? You know what I mean? It's like a sourpuss, you know? It's kind of like, ooh, what I just do? Yeah, and then it cuts. But yeah, they don't finish it, right? The other guy didn't even put it in his mouth.
The cycle of growing and harvesting the plants. In space,
that was funny. Sorry, I really dragged that out.
And think about the waste at the end. Sustainability is also important here on Earth, as we have limited resources too, although not as extreme as astronauts. One example of how our research can be used is growing plants in vertical farms locally rather than putting them out of season. My job is to use new technologies to redesign plants so that they thrive in indoor environments and put all of their effort into growing. We can also make the duckweed taste more interesting. What would you like your duckweed to taste like? Think about the types of foods you'd miss if you were an astronaut. Perhaps you can leave us some suggestions.
As well as providing nutrition, growing plants is good for astronauts' well-being.
Okay.
Flowers like zinnias.
That's a good question. I'm going to ask you guys that.
Moon dust, also known as regolith, is too sharp for plant roots. So even when we grow plants on the surface of the moon or on Mars,
oh wait,
they will need special
fuck, that doesn't make sense. How do I do it? I can ask you guys.
Habitats are already used on Earth. You might know them as greenhouses.
Here, I'll say.
Hydroponics.
What kind?
So no matter where we go,
of food. Oh wait, I don't know what a Q&A is. I don't want to do a Q&A. What I want to know, what would you guys, let's go back to the main sesh. What would you eat in space? Like, what would you miss? What would you want them to turn the duckweed into? Oh, calm down. What would you want them to turn duckweed into for you in space? Would you want them to, you know, like what would you miss? What would you want? Oh, calm down, Bomb Bomb. No. I don't know what she's upset about. I really don't. Bomb Bomb, just chill. Wow. Okay. It's because this is when people walk their dogs. Or there's a coyote. Either one. Dog or coyote. Or potentially just someone walking. That's not allowed. Not allowed. Where did my other... What's going on? Duckweed OG. Okay. We watched that. Plants in Space. That was interesting. I think that was interesting, in my opinion. I think we kind of get how it grows in space. Maybe a little bit. Let's read an article. I have ADHD. No. You're getting on my search. Okay, this is interesting. Advancements in plant-space biology are required for the realization of human space exploration missions where the resupply of resources from Earth is not feasible. Until a few decades ago, space life was focused on the impact of the space environment on the human body. more recently, the interest in plant-based biology has increased because plants are key organisms in bioregenerative life support systems, BLSS, for the regenerative of resources and fresh food production. Moreover, plants play an important role in psychological support for astronauts. Okay, so so we basically have, this is it. Here's a scientific study about what we've been watching videos on. I want to see. I want to see this. Oh, wait, you can't see what I can see. God damn it. Don't want no one talk. Ooh. Sorry, you guys. I wasn't trying to run the outro credits yet. Oops. Almost. We're getting late, you guys. I just want to see one thing. I want to see one thing. Okay, copy. And we're still there. Shit. I know. I'm a little baked. I'm a little baked, and that's okay. What are you gonna do? Yeah, this is only a minute. Let's do that. We're gonna watch this video, and then I'm gonna boop, and then we're gonna go to bed. We're gonna watch. Copy. Paste.
Welcome back to Expedition 62 on the International Space Station. Tonight we thought we would show you a little bit about some meal prep, what we do for meals on board the space station.
Yeah, I wanted to see how they eat on the space station.
So the answer is, we have a great variety of food up here.
Two different
general types of food, thermostabilized food in these green packets that's very similar to military MREs or meals ready to eat. And then we also have freeze-dried food.
So all of the water content has been sucked out. This is just basic asparagus, so we need to add the water back in. We want to make sure all that water is mixing in, and then we usually put it here inside the food warmer.
And then we have refrigerated space here. They've been nice enough to allow us to use these just for food. All right,
dinner
the dinner table.
Some Turkish fish stew. I have butternut squash.
All right, and I'm having, I have rice with butter, some lentil soup.
And they like slurp it up like a baby.
A lot of the Russian food comes in cans. This was one of my favorites. This is spicy beef and rice.
Huh. Like a glob.
This makes eating a lot more fun. You can turn your spoon upside down.
Huh.
Or even let it go. And nothing's going to fall off.
Okay. That's cool. But like, I wonder how it is to eat.
You can eat in any direction. You can eat upside down if I want to.
But they can't really taste much. That's interesting. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think? What are your thoughts? I guess there was a hoax. Did you know there was a big hoax about weed in space on the space station, but it was a hoax. Let me see if I can find it. I can't find it. Anyway, I'm too baked anyway to talk about space anymore. I don't know about you guys, but that was a lot of space talk. That's how I feel about it, okay? It was a lot of talk about space. And space I'm in outer space right now. That's how I feel. I feel in outer space, and I had a lot of fun tonight. I got very baked. I'm going to get ready, go to sleep, clean up the mess actually before I do. Mess everywhere, always. I always make a mess, but I clean it up, and that's my plan. I hope you all had a really good time tonight. And I wanted to say thank you to all of my super chats, to El Fraggle Rock, to Madam Dram, to Cody Baradero, to Bob, to Russ Creech, to Sergeant Donovan, to Bishop of 65, to Sir Stabulous, to Eddie Moretti, to Okella Wood. And I think that's it. That's it. Those are all the super chats. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. And I will see you on Saturday. We're going to do something sweet. I don't know what. Man, those mac and cheese Zaza poppers, people really liked them. So I'm trying to think of what I want to do, something sweet this time, and I'm trying to think of what I can do that's sweet, that's gonna be as popular as these Zaza poppers. I'll think of something. I don't want to fry anything again because dang, my kitchen was so hot. It was not the thing to do in the summer. Ugh. Not indoors. If you're outdoors and you can do it, then fine. But in your kitchen, it was so hot to be frying. Ugh, horrible. But yeah, I'll think of something. I was thinking maybe chocolate cake, but YouTube, the like, it tells you what's trending and like what people are looking and are into, and it didn't say that. Oh, I know what I'm going to do actually. I have an idea. And it's, I should think of a riddle. Let me think about it. Let me try and think of a way to kind of, How could I say this? Well, let me say, one, I ordered something special for it, right? Because the other video that everyone really loved was the cotton candy. People were obsessed with that. They were like, what? You can do cotton candy? And I was like, yeah, you can. Turns out, yes, you can. But yeah. Yeah. How, like, what are hints? I'm trying to like Google about it. Whoopie pies, high flan, apple pie. Nope. Let's say it's like the simplest liquid. Yeah. The simplest liquid you can make. And then an element. A frozen element reshaped. With seasonal fruit to flavor. So it's a cold treat. Because it was so hot in my kitchen after we fried those poppers. But it's going to be something icy. No, it's not the Bong Island iced tea, but that would be cool. And like I said, I had to order something to do it. And it's going to be fun. So I hope you guys will come on Saturday. Is the club sesh, the kitchen sesh. Sorry. Today is the club sesh. Saturday is the kitchen sesh. And what machine do you need for sangria? I see you, Bonbon. Okay. Let's see. And we're going to take another dab to, don't turn on, to take us out. And then we are going to be done. Oops, done. Because I also had that Nanaimo bar, which was a lot of fun. Boop. Oh, wait. Boop. Okay. So we got the boop. And Instagram, you're not going to be part of this. Goodbye, but thanks for hanging out if you were watching on Instagram. Hopefully, I want to know, did anyone come over from Instagram? Curious, did anyone come over and stay? Bye, Instagram. Thanks for watching. Okay. All right, everyone. I'm going to put the little cap on this. And we're going to boop this. I'm going to play it now, okay? Okay, turned on. We're ready to boop. We're going to boop out. Hi, John. Awesome, John. Thanks for coming over. I go live every Saturday and every Wednesday. I'm going to drop some more links in the chat, but the main links are pinned to the top of the chat. Mainly my cookbook and my club that has the Discord chat. You want to go there. All right, you guys, ready? Outro credits. Petra, he's not mad. He's smoking like me. These are my patrons. These are all my patrons on the Edibles Club. If you want to join, the link is pinned to the top. You can also get my cookbook, How to Eat Weed and Have a Good Time. It has awesome recipes, like the Nanaimo bar I just ate. It was great. Oh my god, Libra Monkey Gaming! You rock! Thank you! I'm putting you on the board even though the sesh is over. I don't care. You're going on the board, Libra Monkey Gaming. I'm glad you had a good time. I had a lot of fun. You filled the bottom corner of the board. It's a little messy. But that's okay. I love it. I love the super chats. You guys are awesome. Thank you for tonight. Thank you to my patrons. Thank you to my edibles producers, Madam Dram, Chris Core, Nina Berries, Eddie Moretti, Lindsay Gabriel. You guys rock. I will see you on Saturday. Come and have a frozen treat with me.